Hey everybody, welcome in to Crystal Masters. I hope you are buckled up and excited for a really good class. I have so much to share with you today. I was just telling Alexis, when I have so much to share with you, I always, you know how it goes, like pages and pages and pages of notes. I always take a deep breath. It's always my intention to be able to communicate to you in a clear and organized way. But I see you, you see me, and so Alexis is here in the room with me. Karen's live with you. Anybody new to Crystal Masters this month? We've had quite a few people join recently, and so I do want to welcome you in if you're new. Kind of tell you how this goes. We're delighted to have you because I get to talk to you about Morocco today, and I get to talk to you about Azurite today, which are two of my favorite subjects. And I have some, if there's time, I have lots of fun sidebar conversations to have with you too. We do have some newbies. Wonderful. Lynn's a light worker. She's new. Lovely. Welcome to you. Mom Vet is new, so welcome to you too. Very happy that you're here. Anybody else new? So what happens is class is 3 hours long. In my experience, it goes pretty fast. I hope it does for you too. I'd hate to think it's a slog where you're like, is this ever going to end? I don't wear a watch, so that was kind of funny. I don't know what I'm looking at, but the first 90 minutes is teaching. It's the core content of the class. The second 90 minutes is Q&A. And it's just open field, blue sky. You can ask whatever you want. I may not always have the answers, but my policy as a teacher is if I don't have the answer, we'll find it together. And so that's what makes up the next 3 hours of your life with me. So welcome to anybody who's new. Hi, Melanie. She says, long time no see, Athena. Wonderful to see you and have you here. So glad you're here, Christiana. I love it. Lauren Conway says, if you're new, welcome home. We really are more than a class. We are a family. We see each other through ups and downs and ins and outs, and it's such a joy and a pleasure and an honor for me to be the container keeper with you and for you. So if you're new, I hope that you don't feel new for long. It's Letty's second class, so I hope you've been enjoying it so far. And that's right, Annette gave us a great reminder. Class is recorded. Mm-hmm. So if you're like, holy shit, my dinner's burning, my kids are screaming, I don't know what's going on, I gotta go. By the way, as a mom of two, I totally understand that. Life can sometimes be controlled and sometimes it can't. You can always run away and go take care of whatever you need to take care of. I'll still be here, and then the recording will be there for you afterward. I love that. Mary Rose, who's such a gorgeous soul. If you don't follow Mary Rose on Instagram, you should. She's beautiful inside and out, and she's such a gifted reader. What a beautiful compliment from you that this is the highlight of your month, because you're a highlight of my life. So I'm really glad you're here. Yeah, and Team SG takes notes. So, by the way, Debbie, holding space for your mom, and who's your mom and your aunt right now. So I just want you to know, we really do care about each other and take care of each other, and I love that. Ruth said she's excited to learn about her magical Moroccan roots. I'm going to tell you right now, if I had to leave the United States today and go live somewhere else, I have a short list. You ready for my list? Canada, because I do love me some Canada. Mexico, Morocco, Portugal. Those are the 4 countries I would be happy to move to today if I had to leave. And the reason is I speak Spanish and I speak French. So I could get through Morocco and Canada because of my French and English, and I could get through Mexico, and I could get through Portugal because I can speak Spanish and they can speak Portuguese to me. Those are the 4 countries I would leave today, the US, and go live in. So anyway, Morocco's up there for me in terms of favorite countries outside the United States. It's my favorite design style. My entire crystal room is full of Moroccan furniture. It's my favorite. I'm lucky I live in Los Angeles. We have a store called Badia. And it's just, you would lose your damn mind. If you love Morocco, Badia would be the thing. Why Portugal? By the way, class has begun. I love Portugal. So Muji's in Portugal. And I have friends who live in Lisbon. And the food's amazing, the wine's amazing, the weather's very similar to Southern California, and I've always wanted to learn Portuguese, and I think I'll only learn it if I'm living in a Portuguese-speaking country, and I speak Spanish fluently, so I could probably get by. That's why Portugal. Look at you guys already have your like little list of things too. I want to come to Canada so bad. Invite me. Give me a place to stay and a reason to come, and I'll come be with you. I'll go to the East Coast. I'll go to the West Coast, wherever you are in Canada. I would love to come and visit you. You're not that far away from me. But anyway, so if you haven't been to Morocco, I'm going to take you there today virtually. So here's what's on the agenda for today. Today we're not doing massage table work. Today is just me facing the camera talking to you. Because today's not really so much about body work, okay? Today is really about you and sacred design, sacred geometry, the gemstones of this beautiful magical country that are so potent and powerful. And then we're going to talk about sacred adornment, right? I do love me some port wine. Let me just make myself a note. I have 4 pages of notes. That's a lot for me. Right? That's a lot for me. Yeah, so you just let me know when you're ready for me to come live with you in Canada. I will do that. When my kids are out of high school, my plan is to be traveling at least half the year. So all of you who are in Canada and you've been like, you've been saying you're coming to Canada forever, all of a sudden Michelle Nasello is going to be like, okay, she's not leaving. Like, I told her she could come, and like, how do I get her out of here, right? So anyway, you give me 5 years. I got kids in high school, but as soon as my kids are out of school, I am on the road, and you may be sorry that you said I could come and visit you, because I may end up taking your guest room for longer than you like. But it'll be a slumber party to end all slumber parties. Anyway, okay, so we're going to talk about so many different things today. What I want to tell you is this. I love you, Michelle, by the way. And Angel's up there in Canada too. There's so many of you. So anyway, you say the word. Don't try to keep up tonight. There's a lot of information. Team SG is taking notes. I just want you to relax, like literally roll your shoulders back. I want you to relax and enjoy the content for tonight, because it's a lot of the things I'm teaching you tonight I've never talked about, which is really cool. And then some things I have talked to you about, but like not in a long time. Like the directions and the elements and why they're so important. And I'm going to be talking to you about this sacred symbol, which is on your ring, called the Katra foil. That's the heartbeat, the centerpiece of our class tonight, right? This is your class tool for the month. You also got a little dram of Moroccan Goddess hair serum.
Smells so good.
Which I hope you are...
You want me to get that?
Yeah, will you grab that for me? I hope you are loving the Moroccan Goddess hair serum. What I want to show you... I didn't even show Alexis before we started.
Yeah, guys, the reason why this isn't in your classroom is because Athena wouldn't let me see it. So you're going to have to wait until after class.
After class, it'll be in your classroom. I wanted to show you. Sometimes, yeah, thank you, Alexis.
You're welcome.
Sometimes there's just things that, like, even Alexis and Karen have to be surprised. I'm turning 49 in a couple of weeks. There's still things about this beautiful planet I didn't know. Like, did you know that goats climb trees? And that sometimes they live in trees?
I didn't know they climbed trees. I did know, like, I know goats climb because there's the mountain goats.
Right.
But I haven't seen it in trees. But that sounds adorable.
Do you know that they climb and live inside of argon trees?
No. I love it.
Holy shit. I'm sorry, what? Are you here? Are you awake? Yes, that's an entire herd of goats in an argon tree on their way to Essaouira, Morocco.
Oh my gosh, I want to be in the tree with them.
I was thinking earlier today, I think I would be more like this goat, because he's just about to jump. He's like, like this goat over here looks like he's pretty comfortable where he is. This one looks like he followed them and now he's stuck because he's kind of, angled down. This one's like 2 seconds from now, I'm out of here. Look at him. I followed these freaks into this tree and I'm questioning my life choices. This one's looking down like, what are you going to do, dude?
I understand why you wouldn't let me see it.
Because it's goats in an argon tree.
It makes sense now. It does.
It was important. I have to keep it exciting for Alexis and Karen too. That's not a Photoshop. That's a herd of goats living in an argon tree.
And if you Google it,
Why?
there's so many.
Yeah, Google this. This was not like a Photoshop one-time TikTok whatever. This is like actual shit that happens. And so, you know, one day, 20 years from now, you're going to hear like, I heard that Athena lives in Morocco and in her backyard are argon trees and she has goats. And you're going to be like, oh, I totally get it.
That's like my dream come true now.
Yeah.
I can see Felix up there with them.
I don't think they want cats.
But everyone loves him.
Everybody loves him. Not everybody loves cats, but everybody loves Felix. Anyway. Yeah, but you can make up stories. I'm a storyteller, and I have a very vivid imagination. So one of my favorite things to do is look at pictures like this and make up stories. Like I would name them all. I would make up stories about how two of them are next to each other, but they broke up and they're not looking at each other now. Like I would have a whole narrative for this. Anyway, I digressed. Okay. It's funny as fuck, right? But I digressed. But the reason I want to tell you about this is argan oil. I have long hair, and people always ask me, what's the secret to having really long hair? There's a couple of secrets. One is I don't wash it very often. I wash it about once a week. I use argan oil on my hair. It started out with the Moroccan oil hair products, and now it's this, because this is pure argan oil. And then we added essential oils, lavender and clary sage, and just beautiful oils too, which are all, and ylang ylang, which are all conditioners. And so once a day, just a little bit. Don't put it up here, right? It's going to make your hair greasy. This is just for down on the ends. What it does is it seals the cuticle. And argan is also very good for your skin. So this should be used at the outer edges of your eyes, right here in what we call the nasal labial folds, on your neck and the tops of your hands, because it's very helpful for fighting the early signs of aging, and even the not so early signs of aging. I'm sure there's shit on the ground they're trying to avoid. I just think it's funny. I do use dry shampoo. I do. I use Moroccan oil dry shampoo. And that's how I make my hair look not so bad after 6 days.
I have a very important announcement to make.
About goats?
Yes.
Okay.
There is a picture in the online classroom. It's not the exact same, but it is just as good.
There is a picture of this in the online classroom. So if you're talking to somebody and yet they're like, I don't believe it. I don't believe that there's goats in trees. I know. They do. Well, they use argan oil for everything. And what you have to know is argan trees are ubiquitous in Morocco. It's just the climate and the conditions are really good for growing those particular trees. And so argan oil, if you haven't worked with it before, what you're going to really love about it is it doesn't weigh your hair down. I have very fine hair, so I can put argan oil in my hair. It doesn't feel greasy. It's not like olive oil. I can't do olive oil in my hair because my hair is so fine. I just don't do that. But argan oil all day long, and again, it's good for your skin, right? Yeah. So anyway, goats and trees.
I couldn't help it. I just sent the goat picture to Brooklyn, and she responded immediately. And she's like, I had this on my calendar last year. And I was like, then why wasn't it in our Morocco?
I know. Like, what? This is so important for our happiness right now. Yeah, so cut down on washing your hair and use argan oil, and then stay hydrated. Those are the kind of the tips and secrets. And then I do a very slight trim every 8 weeks of about 1/8 of an inch. And those are the secrets for having long hair. My mom was a hairdresser, so I learned from the best. What she always taught me was good products, no sulfates. Even before it wasn't cool, or was cool, to take sulfates out, I've always used sulfate-free shampoo and conditioner, because the sulfates dry your hair and they can cause breakage. And then don't use too much heat on your hair if you can avoid it. Those are some of the secrets too. All right, anyway, I know this isn't a hair class, but we talked about argan oil, and it leads us down this, we give you argan hair serum in your tools this month, so I had to at least explain why. Late signs of aging. Do you want to know the secret, sassy doctor? If you, let's say you never took care of your skin, what I'm going to do for you, if I was your facialist, and again, I'm not a professional, but my mom trained me for 20 years in all of this, and so I feel like an expert. Hyaluronic acid and retinol. and vitamin C. No matter how far along you are, 50s, 60s, 70s, doesn't matter, is going to make a huge difference in your skin. So you immediately need a hyaluronic serum, you need retinol, and you need, then you need to exfoliate your skin every single day.
And SPF.
And SPF, although if you have late signs of aging, and here's the thing too, SPF, once or twice a week, I go out intentionally in the sun with no SPF, which is going to blow everybody's mind. But that's because I'm vitamin D deficient. It's part of how I got MS. People with MS are all vitamin D deficient, and I am chronically vitamin D deficient. So I go out intentionally. I learned it from Yasmina, actually, twice a week in full sun with no SPF and no sunglasses. And my vitamin D levels have regulated. So anyway, talk to your doctor first. I have great skincare recommendations. So if you want to talk about that when we get to the Q&A portion, I'd be happy to let you know. And if you guys have great brands that you love too, I would love to hear more about that. Okay, now let's transition back. Okay. So we're going to talk about this shape, the quatrefoil. We're going to talk about the stones, azurite and malachite, and we're going to talk about what this shape represents for your healing. One of the things I really believe is in sacred adornment. So we're going to start right there. We wanted to give you a ring this month because, and I know it's hard because you only have 10 fingers and we bring you a lot of cool rings and it's like you only got so much space for them. I would highly recommend, and again, we can talk about all this in Q&A phase, so I'm going to focus more on the camera now, but remember we have that hour and a half at the end for Q&A. We can talk about whatever you want. And we have medical professionals in the field too, like Nurse Sandy, who will tell you that everybody's vitamin D deficient. So that's true too. I want to start with sacred adornment because you should wear rings every day, and if you can. And if you have a ring like this one that you're wearing with the intention of working with it, partnering with it, allying with it for healing, okay? What I recommend is wear it as often as you can. Okay, the more you wear a ring, doesn't mean you have to wear it forever, and doesn't mean you have to wear it every single day. That's why I like to give you choices. This is adjustable. Today you might wear it on this finger, tomorrow you might wear it on your pinky finger. We did have a few left of these, and Alexis and Karen will give you the link. So if you're like, I didn't get the ring this month, but I wish I had, your code today is WONDER for 23% off, and then if you put self-care in your notes, you get a free sticker sheet today. That's the cutest little sticker sheet. I do have it. It's the actual stickers to show you, but this is what they look like. So anyway, just make sure if you're ordering at sagegoddess.com today and you use your code WONDER that you also put self-care in your notes so I can send you the stickers because they're intended for you. The metal for this ring, Elisa, is 925 sterling silver. I don't really work with much else. Okay, almost every single piece of jewelry you will ever buy from Sage Goddess is going to be 925 sterling. Sometimes we put gold over it. Very rarely we do brass and copper rings, and if we do, that's indicated in your listing. But this is a 925 sterling ring. I will tell you something right now. This was almost impossible to do for you. It was almost impossible. When we went to our jewelry folks and said, we want to do a 925 sterling silver ring with azurite and malachite, and we want to charge $40 for it, our partners were like, wait, what? Because it was a completely custom, unique design. Like they had to do it from scratch. So anyway, I'm really proud of our team. I do want to give huge kudos to Team SG because I don't know how we did it for you. This ring is worth double what you paid for it. So congratulations if you got one. It is solid 925 sterling silver. Silver, by the way, is lunar. And you can. The hair serum is at sagegoddess.com today too. So Alexis and Karen are going to provide you with all the links to all the things and the products. But I'm going to focus on our teaching for today. So
We got this.
925 sterling silver is lunar feminine. Gold is solar masculine. Okay? So the reason that we work with silver sometimes when we're working with sacred adornment is we want to bring in more of that divine feminine, that softness, that receptive energy, that big hug, right? And so gold jewelry is beautiful, and I wear some. I only have I have 1, 2, 3, 4 rings on my hands that are gold. The rest of them are silver. Because I'm quite masculine myself, so I need more feminine energy. So I have like a 40-60 balance or 30-70 balance when it comes to my jewelry. The reason I'm sharing this with you right now is I want you to be intentional when you buy your jewelry. If you feel consistently drawn to sterling silver, that means you are consistently drawn to pulling in more feminine energy into your field. But I want you to look at your stones and your jewelry and recognize that you may need some gold. You may need more of the masculine. You may need to balance it. If you feel too emotional, too like you're receiving too much and you're holding too much and it's overwhelming for you, put on a little bit of gold, because gold deflects that and reflects that back. So that's why I'm a two-tone jewelry girl. Rose gold is in between Sylvie Brewster, which probably won't surprise you. Rose gold is right in between. So rose gold is like the happy medium, or the calibration between the masculine and the feminine. I love rose gold too. By the way, this ring is coming in 2 days. Isn't that gorgeous? That's our anniversary ring in Tanzanite.
Is it the feather?
It is. Did you see it?
I saw a picture of it.
Do you want to see it in person? It's so pretty. I just got it today. I'm like, I'm so in love with it. We got a little anniversary ring. And of course, Alexis has the prettiest hands on the planet. So anything she puts on, it's like...
I think I have to get one.
Remember that. She's a born hand model. But anyway, we did a little rose gold Tanzanite peacock feather ring for you. That's not available today. That'll be a couple days from now as part of our anniversary. I know. We've got some fun things coming up for anniversary, so hold on to your hat. I had to wear it. As soon as they gave me the sample, I was like, I'm never taking it off. But anyway, your wedding rings are in rose gold, Sherelle. I love that. Super pretty. I love rose gold. So anyway, whether you wear the yellow, which is masculine, the rose, which is sort of like a hybrid integration metal, or white gold or sterling silver, which is feminine yin energy, all of it is about choice, conscious choice with your adornment. Now, the other thing I want to tell you, and I know a lot of you know this, so just, but some of you don't, some of you are new. When you wear a ring on your left hand, you are receiving that energy. This is your receiving hand. When you wear a ring on your right hand, you are sending that energy out. So if you want to send, like you're going to learn about this ring today in depth. If you want to send that energy as a healer, put it on your right hand. If you're going to do your Reiki symbols, or you're going to be doing, laying on of hands or any kind of physical healing, you may want to wear this on your right hand. If you're trying to enhance your own intuition and your own physical health and healing, left hand. Does that make sense? And the reason I wanted it to be adjustable for you is you get to choose where you put it and why. Again, right hand is going to be you projecting that energy, and the left hand is going to be you receiving that energy, right? This ring is Hessonite garnet. I know you guys love it. I have to say, an artist made it, and so I don't have it for you. And I can't even get the Hessonite stones like that. But I'm so glad you love it. I love Hessonite garnet. We had those spheres for you last week. Hessonite is such a powerful stone. It grounds you, and it helps with manifestation, and it helps with attraction and all the things. So thank you for noticing that too. Yeah. Got it? Yeah, and if you wear rings on your thumbs, which I do too, I'm a thumb ring girl like Barbara. And this would be a great thumb ring. Why not? My thumbs are too crowded, but it would be an absolutely beautiful thumb ring. I would love to see you wear it as a thumb ring. I know. Well, me too, Leisha. I mean, I'm happy to tell you I support lots of artists. I work to buy beautiful things from people who inspire me, and I know you guys do the same thing. So we all have our artists that we love, and love Hessonite garnet. That's right. So thank you for that. So yeah, so left side, because it's receiving, it's feminine, and right side, because it's projecting, it's masculine. Remember, you're both, right? When you think about your energy field, think about your DNA. It's a double helix. Your DNA winds like this. Everything about you is dual. You have 2 eyes, 2 hands, 2 feet, right? 2 ovaries, right? to testes. Everything is dual. There's so much duality built into our very anatomy. And that's because we're not one, we're two, right? So the way I think about it is our creator is both. Our creator is not masculine or feminine. Our creator is they, okay, to use our current pronouns. Our creator is both. We come from duality, and then the duality gets split into each of us depending on like what kind of like equipment we come in with, right? Which is our basic sort of sex identity. And then over time we develop our gender identity. So you might have male parts but feel more connected to feminine energy, and so then you develop your duality that way. Does that make sense? So masculine, feminine, receiving, projecting, yin, yang, however you think about it, there's all different ways to describe it. But every culture and every tradition and every ancient civilization has acknowledged this really powerful duality. And this duality for some of us is part of our magic. Because I feel like as a very masculine person, and I'm named after a goddess who didn't have a mother. I'm named after a goddess who was born from immaculate conception, right? Athena did not come from a woman. Athena sprang from her father's head, fully formed in armor. So I am one of those rare beings who doesn't feel like I come from woman. I know I was born from a woman in this lifetime, and I love her dearly and miss her every day, but I've also always been very independent just because that's not my origin story. Does that make sense? So very few gods and goddesses have that kind of immaculate conception energy, but I'm one of them. So I think it's important to recognize like where you're from, what your lineage and your mythology is, and how you work with masculine and feminine and all of those things together. Shiva Shakti, that's exactly right, Sylvie Brewster, right? Shiva Shakti is the same thing. It's like a recognition that there's this, at the top, right, there's this kind of like unified field of consciousness, which is both masculine and feminine. And then when it comes down to the human level, 3D, we're either one or the other. Although we're learning, right, that we can be both. So yeah, so anyway, the ring is available separately if you would like it, and Team SG has put the link up there for you, so if you'd like to get that. I wouldn't leave class to do it now, but you can always get it later. Okay. So the quatrefoil. I want to back up a little bit. Now, a lot of you know this. I'm a linguist, okay? So my expertise is in something called etymology, which is the study of the root words of our language, which is pretty geeky, but it's my passion. So this shape in Morocco, okay, which is here's kind of a blown up image of it, right? It looks like a 4-leaf clover. It's called quatre in French, which means 4. And foil, which comes from the French word feuille. It's a hard word to describe, to pronounce. F-E-U-I-L-L-E. Quatrefoil means 4-leaf. We anglicized it in our language to quatrefoil. Foil is the anglicizing, the Englishizing, the taking from French to English of the word feuille in French, which means leaf. So quatrefoil is 4-leaf. Do you remember the word cinquefoil? The herb cinquefoil for money? Cinq in French is 5. Cinquefoil comes from cinquefeuille, which means 5-leaf. There's also trefoil. How many of you have bought these? From some little ladies who know how to sell you pretty much anything they've got. I'm sorry, but I can't say no to Girl Scouts in front of grocery stores. The good news about COVID is there weren't a lot of Girl Scouts in front of grocery stores. I feel like I saved myself 10 pounds. These little girls come up and go, would you like to buy some cookies? And by the way, I hate Girl Scout cookies. Don't judge me for it. I think they taste like shit.
All of them?
The Samoas and the Thin Mints. Everything else tastes like shit.
So...
What about the peanut butter ones, maybe?
I tried to order cookies the other day because David was gonna... I was just
like
trying
Girl
to get
Scout
some
cookies?
snacks. No.
Okay.
I tried to order the Keebler Fudge Stripes.
I do like Keebler Fudge, yeah.
So I ordered them on Instacart or Amazon Fresh, I can't remember, but they didn't have it, so they chose a replacement for me, and it was the Keebler equivalent of Samoas, and I swear to everything good in this universe, they're better.
Okay, I do like Samoas.
I'll bring some to you. They're really, really, really
good.
Oh,
tag-alongs. I'll do a nice tag-along. And I would like to try the better Samoas.
I'll bring
Do they have
some
coconut in them? A little bit of coconut?
Yeah, they've got like the little toasty coconut.
Yeah, the toasty coconut.
There's like more caramel on them.
Oh, really? See, that's where they went wrong with the Samoas. It's not enough caramel.
Yeah.
Okay, anyway, I know. Once again, I know you didn't come here for Girl Scout cookie cups. But I just want to point out to you, they're Quatrefoils. Those little sneaky ladies are selling you Quatrefoils. Oh, really? She's accurate? You guys know about these Keebler?
They're good. Even David agrees. He's a huge Samoa fan. And he was like, I'm so glad that they refunded you. Like, these are way better than your fudge stripes. But the fudge stripes sounded good.
The fudge stripes are good. Zoe likes the fudge stripes, too. I know. Anyway, Thin Mints in the freezer are just really yummy. One time, I will tell you a quick recipe if you're curious. If you take Thin Mint cookies... and I can make a cake out of them, and it's really, really good. I did it once, and the kids lost their mind. So the recipe is, you ready? It's super simple. Your kids are going to freak out, or your partner's going to freak out if they love Thin Mint. Here's my recipe. So you take Thin Mint cookies, you lay them in a sheet pan, 9 by 13 pan. Just lay a layer of them. Then you make fresh whipped cream. So you take heavy cream, you put it in your processor, and you can add just a little bit of mint flavoring to it. Super fine sugar, a little bit of cocoa powder, and you make like a cocoa mint fresh whipped cream. You put a layer of that over the Thin Mints, and then you put another layer of Thin Mints, another layer of the chocolate mint cream, another layer of the Thin Mints on top, and put it in your refrigerator. There's no bake. The next day, you guys, it is the most incredible thing you've ever tasted. If you love mints, this will be your favorite chocolate mint. It'll be your favorite cake ever.
That sounds amazing.
And you can do it with chocolate peanut butter too, by the way. You can do it with any cookie you want. So you just change the flavor of your whipped cream. And it's better the third and fourth days. It's affordable. It's easy. You'll lose your mind. So make your own whipped cream. Put super fine sugar in there, which helps the texture. And then call me in the morning. I call that the marry me cake because I swear to you, if you do that, like the person who feeds you is going to want to marry you in a heartbeat. So anyway, that's my story of Thin Mint stuff. Okay. Now, I'm going to show you a little bit more of the Quatrefoil because I want you to see how often it comes up. So this is the design. You're going to see it in architecture everywhere. Here is a window in San Francisco. I'm just showing you like random pictures. Quatrefoil. 4-leaf, right? Here is the National Cathedral in Washington, D.C. There's Quatrefoils all over the building. National Cathedral. I've been there. I used to work in Washington, D.C., so we used to go to the National Cathedral sometimes, and it's a beautiful building. Here is Francis Ford Coppola's winery in Gyersville, California. Quatrefoils on the staircase. Totally inspired Moroccan design. Here's the Rheims Cathedral in Rheims, France. Quatrefoils everywhere. And lots of sacred geometry. Here is a palace in Venice, Italy. Quatrefoil. I'm lucky enough to have a Quatrefoil necklace. I made myself a note to wear it today, and I forgot because I've been so busy. But I have a knockoff of a Van Cleef and Arpels necklace, and Van Cleef and Arpels. Let me see if I can pull it up on my phone for you. I meant to send this to you, and I didn't print it out. Van Cleef and Arpels. What's interesting about these mainline designers is Van Cleef has been doing this Quatrefoil design forever. This year, the newest one they did is in rhodonite. This is Van Cleef and Arpels. It's iconic, you guys, and it's expensive as fuck. It's $2,600 for one of those on a chain. I don't recommend you buy that, which is why mine's a knockoff. My friend made it, and I can tell you it wasn't $2,620. But it's not a real Van Cleef. So when you see me wearing it, you can go, that's not a real Van Cleef she's wearing. David Yurman uses them, so a lot of the big design houses use them. What's interesting about Van Cleef and Arpels this year, when they launched the rhodonite quatrefoil, I don't know if you find this interesting, but when they used real stones, I love to know how the big houses talk about them. They called rhodonite, are you ready? A rescue stone. This is from Van Cleef and Arpels. They called it a rescue stone for urgent healing, emergency healing. Isn't that interesting? Now, I think it's a powerful healer too, because rhodonite is filled with manganese, and manganese helps with inflammation. It helps to heal your physical heart. It slows the replication of cells. That is part of the problem when we have diseases about cell replication like cancer, right? So it slows the replication of cells. But literally, if you go to Van Cleef and Arpels and search rhodonite, you're going to see all this information they shared about it being like the rescue stone and all of these things. So I like to share this because it isn't just us here at Sage Goddess or, metaphysical people talking about these things. It's the major design houses now that are talking about these things as well. So the quatrefoil, which is what you have here, and again, this one we designed so it has the energy of the symbol and also of the stone for you. Mm-hmm. The quatrefoil is a timeless symbol of good luck. Good luck, good fortune, and also balancing of the 4 elements, and also balancing of the 4 directions. When you have anything, even a cross, now the Christian cross is not balanced. It's longer on the vertical axis and shorter on the horizontal axis. So the Christian cross is interesting to me. My theory on it is it's got too much masculine and not enough feminine. Because the masculine is that vertical axis, the feminine is the horizontal. You ever notice that about the Christian cross? The Celtic cross is even. It's even on the horizontal and the vertical. So the Celtic cross has always inspired me more or felt more connected because it's balanced in its masculine and feminine. Does that make sense? It is a timeless symbol of good luck. The 4 overlapping circles of the same size represent the 4 leaves of creation. Now, here's what I want to tell you. I'm going to go through every major spiritual tradition right now and tell you what the 4 leaves, the quatrefoil, means for them. Because I find this fascinating, and I hope you will too. In Christianity, okay, because every tradition uses this symbol. In Christianity, the 4 leaves represent the 4 evangelists of the Bible: Mark, Matthew, Luke, and John. Fascinating, right? They were the evangelists. They were the ones who were spreading the gospel of Jesus Christ. And they were the companions of Christ through Christ's journey on this planet before his crucifixion. Right? So we have it echoed in Christianity. In the Native American tradition, the 4 leaves represent the 4 ends of the earth and the points of the compass: north, south, east, and west. So it represents the 4 directions. Okay? In the Celtic tradition, and like I said, the Celtic cross has always resonated more with me, and it's just because I don't want anything out of balance. If you're going to have masculine and feminine, it's got to be 50-50 for me, or it ain't going to work. So the Celts translated this symbol. They also thought it was good luck to have the 4 leaves, but they called it the wheel of being. The wheel of being. This symbol right here on your hand. Isn't that cool? And they said what it is, it's the tie between, the T-I-E, the tie between the natural world on one axis and the spiritual world. And the reason why the Celts have an even cross versus the Christians, are you ready? Is because to the Celts, the natural world is not any less important than the spiritual world. The physical world that we live in is not less important than the spiritual world. It's an even reflection to the Celts. In Christianity, the spiritual world is more powerful than the natural world, right? God has dominion over all things. So that means that whatever's in the natural world is important, but it's not as important as the spiritual world because the spiritual world created it and therefore has dominion over it. Does that make sense? So anyway, this isn't a lesson in religion and spirituality, but for me personally, I don't find that it resonates to think about the natural world being less important than the spiritual world. If the spiritual world created us, then we're all equal, right? Okay. Now, the cross embedded in the design in the Celtic tradition is called the green cross. So that's that. When you see that equilateral or equidistant Celtic cross, it's called the green cross. And here's the mantra that the Celts used for that cross. Are you ready? I love this so much. God is never separate from me. God is never separate from me. God is not above me or below me or outside of me. God is right with me, right? I carry God wherever I go. But it makes sense because for the Celts, like, the Celts didn't really believe in going to like a church to worship deity, right? The Celts believed your church was your tree outside your door, or like the animals coming to your yard, or the child you're holding in your arms. Like, that was your church, right? God is never separate from me. So that's what this symbolizes too. And so sometimes if you like feel like you're losing faith, you can touch your stone. Like, do it with me right now. Take a breath, center yourself, and say it with me. God is never separate from me. And if you don't like God, you can say source or creator or, I don't know, magic.
Magic is never separate from me.
Magic is never separate from me. Isn't it true, though? Like, I really think about that in my own life. I'm never separate from the one who created me. Like, I think about my own kids, right? Like, I'm never separate from them. And they're not here in the room with me right now, but I mean, I can feel them, they can feel me. Magic is never separate from me. Wherever they go, when they go off to college or whatever, like, I will haunt them. They will never be separate from me, right? God is never separate from me. It's a beautiful mantra. We should make a sticker like that. Don't you guys think we should make you like a Quatrefoil? We'll do it as a gift with purchase. Wouldn't that be fun? Like a free little thing, like a Quatrefoil that says, God is never separate from me. I would love that on my mirror in my bathroom. Wouldn't you? Or like, would you like a sticker or a postcard? Well, the Druids, I want to talk about the Druids separately in just a second. I'm getting to the Druids. I know the Celts and the Druids, we sometimes like collapse them together, and you can, because the Druids are Celts, but not all Celts are Druids. It gets complicated. Would you want a sticker or a postcard? I want that. I want something that says, God is never separate from me. In my mind, I can see it. Okay, now, the four-leaf clover, right, in Irish history has a lot of magic too.
Sorry, did they settle on sticker or postcard? Or should I just...
I'm seeing postcard, sticker,
So both.
or a wooden sign. I'm seeing wooden sign too.
Okay.
Yeah, or all of the above, or a bebop.
They just want all
I think I just want a Quatrefoil bebop too.
Okay. But for the... So you said you want to do it as a GWP, right?
Yeah, I do.
So
I want
for
to do something
that,
free.
I think a sticker as the GWP.
Let's do a sticker, and if you guys want more, we can do postcards.
Yeah.
I know. And then we'll do a Quatrefoil. Let Lindsay know we want to do a Quatrefoil bebop.
Yeah, I just feel like a postcard's not really a GWP because we send those out anyway. Like, that just doesn't seem like a good, like,
Yeah,
gift
let's do a
to
sticker.
me. But we can create a postcard. But...
Well, I like stickers because I don't know about you, but I put them on my mirrors. I put them on my windows. I put them on my computer. I put them, you know, where you type and there's like a little space to the either side of your keyboard. That's where I put my stickers, and because it's just a constant reminder. Because I'm on my computer all the time typing, and so I would like just a little Quatrefoil sticker that said, God is never separate from me. Anyway, Say's like, I don't even know what the question is, but I'm saying stickers. Which is why I love you so much. Okay. So the four-leaf clover, right? Good luck. Same tradition. The Druids, however, they called the Quatrefoil, this symbol of your ring, they called it a charm. The Druids. And they thought it was a warding of negative energy. They thought it was protective, that it would protect you from any negative energy or vibration coming from any of the four directions. So for the Druids, this was a powerful protection symbol. We've been talking about how it represents, you know, good luck and good fortune and all these things, and it's all positive, which is great. But for the Druids, it was like a protection thing. It was an absolute protection symbol. Yeah, Rena wants just the symbol, so I don't know. We'll see. We'll come up with something good. Don't worry. Children in the Middle Ages used to carry this symbol in Ireland because they were told it helped them to see the fairies. So in Ireland in the Middle Ages, if you had this symbol, you were told that the fairies could see you and that you could see the fairies. Isn't that cool? So it was like a kind of like a fist bump to the fairies, like I've got my quatrefoil on, which means like, you know, I'm one of you kind of thing, and it would allow you to see the fairies more clearly. The first reference to the quatrefoil as a symbol for good luck and good fortune, and especially for financial good fortune, came in 1620. Sir John Melton wrote a poem talking about this shape, the four leaves, and how it represented good luck and good fortune. So that goes back to the 17th century. Whew. Now, how you feeling? I just dropped all my wisdom on you about quatrefoils. Now I'm going to show you a couple more pictures of Morocco because I do want you to see some things. And then we're going to talk about azurite and malachite. I might pass by some of I took so many different, sorry. I snapped so many different pictures that I wanted to show you. By the way, if you are interested in Moroccan food, we'll talk more about this in Soul Shift, but I own one of these. A lot of you do too. It's called a tagine, and it is, I learned about it actually from Yasmina because she cooks with it all the time. It's closed on the top. It's made out of clay. If you put chicken and veggies in here and broth, you can put veggie broth or chicken broth. You can do non-chicken too. You can put veggies in here. And you put the top on and let it cook for 2 hours. The juice swirls inside of here. The chicken literally falls off the bone. I like to cook chicken with the bone in, like thighs. It makes it so juicy. Put whole big garlic cloves in here. You'll have the best meal of your life. So that's what a tagine looks like. They use it as street food in Morocco, which I think is really interesting. Doesn't have anything to do with quatrefoil, but I wanted to show that to you. The other picture I wanted to show you in here, this is more for Soul Shift, but I'll show it to you too. Look at the spices in the Moroccan market. Look at the lanterns in the Moroccan market. Here's a restaurant in Marrakesh. Don't you want to be there right now eating? Like, we should be here having class right out here on the patio. I'll come back to spices when we get to Soul Shift, especially next month when we hit Morocco or Pakistan. Now, over here, this is just a doorway in Morocco, but do you see? The quatrefoil shows up in a lot of different places, and sometimes it looks a little different. Sometimes the quatrefoils are pointy, and sometimes they're round, right? Again, Moroccan design is my favorite. My house is very Moroccan. Look at this. Look at the windows. There's the quatrefoil design all the way through the stained glass. So I'm telling you, I go to Morocco, I'm not coming back. And then the last pictures I wanted to show you, I want to highly recommend this book to you. I know a lot of you are readers. I enjoyed every single minute. I read this book cover to cover. It was like dessert. This is one of the most fun books I've had in my collection, partly because I love Moroccan design. So if you just want a treat, you can get this on Amazon. It's called Marrakesh by Design. It's decorating with all the colors, patterns, and magic of Morocco. I'm not going to show you the whole book, but I'm going to show you bits and pieces. There's so much I want to show you tonight, and I'm like trying to do the best I can to sneak it all in. Here's quatrefoil on a floor in Morocco. This is inside someone's home. This is their living room. That's a bomb-ass living room, right? And you can see four corners, four sides. It's just ubiquitous throughout Moroccan design. I'm showing you this. It has nothing to do with what we're talking about today, but look what they do in the fountains in Morocco because they have so many roses. Don't you just want to do that? If you have a fountain in your home, don't you just want to float dozens of roses in it? I posted that on my Facebook today too. I just thought that was so beautiful. Now, I'm going to talk to you about color magic too in Morocco because we're dealing with blue and green when we're dealing with azurite and malachite. So I want to read this to you. In Moroccan culture, blue, even in gemstones, okay, is linked to the sky, to heaven, and to water. And the Berbers specifically associate blue with the sea. In Islamic countries, the color blue is thought to deflect the evil eye. And for this reason, it's used on doors or included in small pendants worn around the neck. In Morocco, indigo was believed to have medicinal and cosmetic benefits. Berber women believe that when they wear indigo, it improves their health. Isn't that cool? Blue is linked to the planet Mercury in Morocco, and so blue is very sacred. Green in Morocco, which is malachite, because there's azurite and malachite in your ring. Green is associated with a heavenly paradise. The Prophet Muhammad is reported to have loved green, to have worn green turbans and green robes. They believe in Morocco that green is the go-between that bridges the red of hell with the blue of heaven. So it's that middle space. Others think that fondness for green comes from the reverence that desert Arabs hold for gardens and vegetation, because remember, it's a very arid desert landscape, and so there isn't a lot of, it's harder to grow abundant life and plants and beautiful things, right? Green represents fertility, life, renewal, growth, and it's linked to the moon. So I wanted to share that with you. And then, I'm only showing this to you because I loved it. Again, not necessarily relevant. We need this outside where we hang out. Don't you need that? And do you know what they do in Morocco? All they do is they build a wood base and put a mattress on it and then throw a shit ton of pillows on it. They don't go spend $5,000 at a furniture store. Do you know what I mean? Like, we can do this. You build a wood base, find a nice person who can do that for you. You throw a mattress from Amazon on it, okay? You cover the mattress in a sheet, and then you throw all of your throw pillows. You hang a lantern, you have an instant outdoor retreat. Isn't that gorgeous? We need this right now. I love DIY stuff, so I had to show that to you. Is there anything else in here I wanted to show you? I think that might have been it. I could show you this book all day long. It's beautiful. What's really cool about this book, if you're interested in it, I just want to show you. At the very end, what they do is they show you every Moroccan store by country. So they list them all. They list all the ones in the US, and they list them in every other country too. So for example, starting on page Moroccan home goods. If you're in Australia, that's where you go. If you're in Canada, that's where you go. If you're in France, that's where you go. If you're in Germany, that's where you go. Isn't that cool? And then it goes all the way back to the US. In Spain, that's where you go. In Sweden, that's where you go. If you're in the UK, that's where you go. Every single country has Moroccan goodies. Isn't that fun? Here's the US, right? This is where I go. My favorite store is on Vineland Avenue in North Hollywood called Badia Design. If you're in Georgia, here's where you go. Anyway, I thought you'd want to see that. It's so cool. So if you're like, I love Moroccan stuff, where do I go? Now you have all your sources for all the things of where to find your Moroccan treasures. And what's nice is it's usually very affordable. Moroccan interiors are not expensive. So you'll be able to find wonderful things. Now I'm going to take a deep dive into the stones. It's a super cool book. So if you love Morocco anything, go get that book on Amazon and have fun. I don't get anything for telling you that. I don't have like a, what do they call it? I don't have like an affiliate account where like I get something if you buy something that I tell you about. I don't do any of that because I don't like it. So when I share something with you, it's genuinely because my heart loves it. Die Hunt's birthday! Happy birthday! Happy birthday to you.
Happy
Birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Di. In my horrible voice. Happy birthday to you. Cheers to a beautiful year ahead for you. I know. We can keep going. Anyway, happy birthday. Yeah, or go to Morocco and ship a pallet, but that's a little harder. So finding a store near you might be the better, cheaper route to go. So enjoy all of that. Okay, Azurite Malachite, I have a lot to talk about. I still have 3 pages of notes, so let's go. I have half an hour to get through all this with you, and then you can ask me as many questions as you want. Martha's birthday is Sunday. Just remind me during Q&A, Martha, and I'll sing to you in my shitty, horrible voice. If Lauren Conway was here, she could sing to you in a pretty voice. She's a singer, but I can't do that, so I do my best. Okay. You ready to talk about Azurite? Now, we have some Azurite at sagegoddess.com. I do want to show it to you because maybe you're one of those people who doesn't want to wear it in jewelry, but you want to work with it in its natural form. Edgar Cayce was a big proponent of working with just a big hunk of Azurite. And I think we have Azurite blueberries too, don't we? In stock? Will you check for me?
Yes, just a moment. Yeah, we have this particular listing isn't called the blueberries, but it is the blueberries. It's natural Azurite.
How much is it for the small pieces?
$3.50 to $6. There's different sizes.
So they're going to link to you. Again, your code for 23% off is WONDER. Don't forget to put self-care in your notes so you get your free stickers. We have little small pieces for $3.50 to $6 at sagegoddess.com, and then we have bigger pieces. This is the small, this is the medium, and this is the large. And these are all Azurite Malachite, also from Morocco. All of our Azurites from Morocco, okay? Okay, we'll catch you all up. We'll do all the birthday celebrations in just a little bit. I don't know. Okay, are you ready to fall in love with Azurite? If you don't love Azurite by the time I'm done today, I haven't done my job. I'm going to tell you it's top 10 stones for me of all time, that's a big statement because there's a lot of crystals and I love them all. But I have to say Azurite is just right up there as being truly one of my favorites of all time. There's a new pocket of Azurite. I don't own any of it. It's in Sonora, Mexico, so it's just south of me. But it's so expensive. Like a little tiny piece like this is like $500-$600. But they're fully terminated Azurite crystals. I just can't justify. Even for me, I'm just like, I don't know if I want to pay that for that. It's like, I'd rather do something else with that money, like buy groceries or put gas in my tank. But they're really, really pretty. Or just have a meal, or pay my mortgage. But anyway. But I do want to tell you, like, there are places. Russia has terminated Azurite crystals too, and they're gorgeous. But again, they're in that like $500-$700 range, and it's like way too rich for me. But that's right, Michelle. That Mexican Azurite is like, whew. You need a cold shower after you see some of that, because the crystals are beautiful. Like the fully terminated Azurite crystals are just super duper rare. Okay, so let me teach you. I'm going to go full teacher right now. Just you and me. I'm going to dive in. Azurite opens the third eye to see clearly where healing is needed. If there's ever been a medical medium stone, okay, a stone to help you understand where healing needs to begin, what the root cause or origin story of a healing challenge, whatever it is, like a physical challenge, mental challenge, emotional challenge, if there's ever been a medical medium crystal, Azurite's at 3,000%. You need to have Azurite in your collection. That's why I'm trying to show you, like even here at SG, we've got different sizes and different prices. So if you didn't get the ring, get a little crystal piece or get a bigger crystal piece, whatever really resonates with you. Edgar Cayce was a fan of working with the rough crystals, but he always said it didn't matter whether it was rough or polished. It would take you to the same place. Sometimes some people feel like the rough crystals get you there faster. I don't believe that. I think if you have the crystal in whatever form, it's going to, activate that particular energy stream in your field. You hold it to the third eye for visioning. So one of the reasons I wanted you to have a ring is, so we're going to do an exercise together right now, and then I'm going to teach you more about how Edgar Cayce worked with the stone and why it was so important for him. So I want you to roll your shoulders back. I want you to call your energy into present time. I'm going to burn just a little bit of sage, not too much, just a little bit, just to kind of clear the field. And you'll notice with me, especially if you're new, like I burn sage 3 or 4 times a day. I think it's really important. You just always want to have the field clear when you're doing any kind of sacred work. And sage smoke always feels like a hug to me. I was introduced to it by somebody who I consider a second mother, and so for me it's always like it brings her energy into my field. And then, just clear your ring. Anything else you want to clear. So good. The other nice thing about burning some sage is it forces you to stop. You know what I mean? Like, if you're trying to rush through ceremony, which we should never rush through ceremony. Ceremony actually demands of us to slow down and take our time. But if you ever find that you're trying to do it really, really quick, the burning of white sage is an invitation, and it's a reminder to just slow down. The extra 30 seconds, the extra minute doesn't make a difference in the outcome, but it makes a huge difference in the process, right? So it's always about taking your time. Okay, so I want you to do this exercise with me and see how it helps you, or if it helps you. And I'm going to open a circle for mine. You don't have to do this if you don't want to, but I'm going to tell you something. When you open a circle with quartz or selenite, it contracts all the energy around you. It brings it all into your field. So if you want to have a more powerful experience of magic, always open a circle. It makes the field around you smaller. So you're not taking in energy and information from every part of the world, right? You're only now taking in energy from your immediate energy field, which is about 12 to 24 inches around your physical body. So it just contracts the energy field, makes it smaller, so that the experiences that you are happening in your own energy field. Does that make sense? I love it. So whatever form of azurite you have, please make sure you have that in your hand right now. For this exercise, I'd like you to have your ring on your left hand, because that means you're going to receive the energy. We're not using it for anybody else right now. We're working with it ourselves. So left hand. Okay, again, if you want to give this to somebody else, you put it on your right hand, then you're going to be working with it for them. Okay? Now, I want you to first bring your azurite malachite ring to your third eye. And I want you to take a nice deep breath there. And exhale. Let's take a nice deep breath there again. And I want you to start to notice if there's any lights or symbols or shapes that you're seeing. Sometimes they're colored, like red or gold or green or purple. Keep your eyes closed. Take another deep breath in. And exhale. Like, I'm seeing some round circles. They're kind of reddish pink. I'm seeing a little bit of gold off to the left in my peripheral vision. One more deep breath there. And now we're going to do the same thing without the ring. Okay, so keep your eyes closed. And then just take a nice deep breath. And exhale. And inhale again. And exhale. And inhale one more time. And exhale. And now bring the ring back to your third eye. And inhale there. And exhale. And inhale. And exhale. And now bring your hand down. For me, the visions are more powerful with the ring against my third eye. Now they can be very different. Each person, depending on how clairvoyant you are and what your kind of natural tendencies are, you might see this or that or the other. It's not about what you see, it's about what feels stronger for you. Did you feel like you were able to see more or sense more or feel more with the ring against your third eye or without? right? This is kind of a teaching moment about the energy of azurite and how powerful it is at opening and dilating, if you will, the third eye, right? It gets very buzzy. You're more likely to see colors when you're working with azurite. This is something Edgar Cayce discovered, right? Fireworks is kind of what it feels like, right? Hillary saw a blue 8. Kathy saw green, right? And it could be that you see more without it. I'd want you to keep experimenting with it, okay? Like with, without, 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 and just test for yourself as an experiment for you, okay? Now, I'm going to tell you what Edgar Cayce teaches us about azurite. And this is my little fun research project in getting ready for our class today, because I did about 6 hours of research into Edgar Cayce's experiences with azurite. I'm fascinated by it. And you know, the first time I learned about Edgar Cayce and azurite was actually when I was 18. I was studying with my first metaphysical teacher, because she was trained at the Edgar Cayce Institute on the East Coast. And so she used to teach these psychic development courses, and I used to take them with her. She's still my teacher. I just talked to her last week. And she was the one who taught me about azurite. Because when I first started working with crystals, she was like, well, you have to work with azurite, because Edgar Cayce said he would never have had his visions without it. And it's true, he did say that. Here's what azurite does. It dissolves confusion and emotional blockages. What it does is it prevents you from projecting your own fears and hesitations and your own BS onto the healing process, okay? So a lot of you, when you come to me with questions, you're like, is it really me that's doing this? Is it really me that's seeing this? Or is it that I'm just like projecting because I think this is what's happening, but I'm not really seeing it? I get those questions all the time. Or how do I know if it's me, or like what I want to see, or what I want to have happen, right? How do I know the difference? So what Edgar Cayce said is, azurite is the stone that will clarify for you what is your personal vision or projection or whatever that is, and what's actually coming from the spirit world. Does that make sense? Edgar said it connected him to what he called the divine mind. He called it the stone of heaven, and he believed that it opened all gateways from the third eye up to the highest dimensional gateways, which for me are the 12 gateways, which lead us into the angelic realms and the realms where our souls go after we die. Okay. Now, I don't want to get too technical, but he had 3 stones he liked to work with. Okay. It's there in the matrix, Cheryl Cole. But let me tell you, there's 3 stones in the matrix of the stone I gave you. It's all from Morocco. There's lapis lazuli, there's malachite, and there's azurite. Okay? Edgar Cayce said all 3 were critical to the healing process. He called lapis lazuli lazuli, and he said that was the conduit. Okay? He called malachite ligurius, Ligurius, which means precious gem of healing. And he called azurite linguis, lapis linguis, which means language. Linguis, Linguis. And what he said is, it's a light language that gets channeled through the throat and the third eye that happens with azurite. But if you want to use azurite for healing, you need malachite, which is the green. Okay? The brown in your stone, probably iron, or a copper, another copper, ore of copper. But you're probably going to see blue, and you're probably going to see green in your stone. And so you're going to have the benefit, and they're both there even if you can't see them, because these all come from the same mine. They're just little different bits, right? And by the way, if you don't see anything, Tammy, it means that being clairvoyant isn't your primary spiritual gift. This is what we study in Soul Shift, by the way. So some of you might hear the messages or feel them in your body, but not see them with your eyes or even your seeing eye, right? Your third eye, because that's more of a gift of clairvoyance. You might smell something. You might, I don't know, could be all kinds of different things. So again, the lapis, he felt all three of the stones are in your stone. So all three of them are there, whether you can see it or not, because they come from the same matrix, right? But the and the lapis, by the way, and the azurite in your stones look exactly the same. So you will not be able to, with your eye, distinguish them. But they're both there. Could be aragonite. Could be. Okay? Again, the green is malachite, which, like I said, Edgar Cayce believed that the azurite, what the lapis would do was a conduit. It would open the channel for you. Then the azurite will open your vision or your whatever your psychic gift is, and the malachite will teach you how to work with that gift for healing purposes. Does that make sense? Yeah, and so the best place to go to look for all your inclusions, and Alexis and Karen will link to it for you, is Mindat. They can give you a link to a website called mindat.org, and you can actually look up every inclusion in your azurite malachite from Morocco. Yeah, I'm with Karen. I'm 90% sure that the black in your stone is manganese, which is a master healer.
That was me. Mm-hmm. Manganese is mined in, I think this might be a good time to talk about that. Manganese is mined in Morocco.
Okay, so do you see? Manganese here in the high Atlas Mountains. Malachite, there are 48 mines. Azurite, there are 35 mines, and those come mostly from Casablanca. Do you see that right there? Vanadinite, by the way, comes over here. Barite comes over here. Just to show you, fluorite, which is usually yellow fluorite, comes over here, right underneath Coniferous. So manganese is a master healer. It will heal cuts, scrapes, and bruises overnight. It is such a powerful healer. And you can see, because it's so close in distance, that these would be manganese-bearing and also copper-bearing mines.
With the exception of vanadinite, which mainly only comes from the region I pointed out, all of these kind of come from all over Morocco.
Yeah.
I pointed out the key ones, but they all grow together everywhere. And there's also another list of stones and minerals that grow here primarily are chromium, cobalt, which I think is the family of stones we're talking about.
It is, yeah. And usually
copper.
The cobalt is pink. That's the cobalto-calcite.
Oh, okay. Copper.
Mm-hmm. Copper, for sure, because that's your that's your malachite and your azurite.
Mm-hmm. Gold, nickel, pyrophyllite, silver, talc, tin, tungsten, vanadium, and zinc as well. So a lot of these minerals and matrices are going to be rich with those materials.
Yeah, this is really helpful. And this is in your Facebook group. This is in your online classroom. So you don't have to scramble to go to try to find that. And kudos fully to Alexis for creating that graphic for us today. It's a really good one, isn't it?
Yay, I'm glad you guys like it.
Yeah, so anyway, so this is what we want you to know. So lapis and azurite are both ores of copper. You're going to find them wherever you find copper-bearing minerals. So what I would tell you, Michelle, is if you want to look specifically and start to break down, just because we don't have enough time in class today to do that, but if you want to look specifically on the breakdown between azurite and lapis, I would send you to Mindat.
That's where I got all of this information.
Yeah, that's going to be the best source of information for you if you want to, because today's class is really about malachite and azurite, but if you have specific questions about, like, hey, what's the difference between this and lapis, or what's the difference between this and chrysocolla or whatever else, like, Mindat's a really rich source for you. And so I would really recommend that that's a website that you choose to kind of bookmark, because I use it all the time. I love it. I go there, I kind of geek out because I like to look at all the differences between my stones. So that's a good resource for you as well. Now, here's what I also wanted to tell you. Let me go back to my previous page. The lapis linguis, which is what he called azurite, okay, he believed was activated by Archangel Metatron. This is Edgar Cayce, okay? So Metatron is the highest of all archangels, and he believed that Metatron himself activated the energy of azurite on this planet. Now, I will tell you, Edgar Cayce was having some pretty higher order spiritual experiences. So I take him at his word. And like I said, because one of my teachers was trained at his institute, not by him, but at his institute, which still exists, she was like, Athena, it was really powerful what was happening there. And she said, even though it was difficult and expensive to go and get the training and you had to apply and be chosen and all these things, like it was the most profound experience of her life, right? He said it connected you to higher realms for what he called, quote, a clear interdimensional interface. Clear interdimensional interface. Now, he believed it came from Atlantis, and what he saw in his visions is that its use in Atlantis was restricted for use only by initiates. So in Atlantis, there were people who couldn't work with Azurite. That it came from Atlantis, that it was activated during the Atlantean period. Now, here's why this makes sense, okay? A lot of us, myself included, consider ourselves Atlantean. And a lot of us believe, because most Atlanteans, when they fled after the fall of Atlantis, went to Africa and then sometimes north, right? So they went to Africa, either to Egypt or Morocco, northern Africa, or they went to Tibet and Nepal, right? So we made our way up from the region of Atlantis through to the northern territories. And he said that in Atlantis, there were people who were considered initiates and people who weren't. And if you were not an initiate, you could not work with Azurite because it was too powerful. And that it would actually, once we left Atlantis and became human, or a version of human, whatever we were in the, in between leaving Atlantis and becoming fully human, that it was so powerful it could overwhelm our system and kill us. And so that's why only certain people were allowed to use it at certain times. Even during his lifetime, Edgar Cayce was careful about who worked with Azurite. And what he said was, people are either called to it or they're not. And I thought this was interesting because it's like, some of you got the tool for this month and some of you didn't. Is it because some of you felt initiated and ready and some of you didn't, right? Like even tonight, I'm showing you Azurite pieces, right? Some of you are going to feel really called to that and like, I need that. Like that's the next level stone for me. It's as powerful as the Synergy 12. It's just not part of the Synergy 12, but it's as powerful. Some of you are going to feel like, I've got to have that. I've got to order that. And some of you are going to be like, I don't know. It's a next level stone for those who want to initiate their practice to a higher level of, again, what he called clear interdimensional interface. Okay. Now, he said that it was activated by sunlight. So what he did with his Azurite is every single day at noon, he took it outside and sat it in the direct sunlight until 1 p.m. in whatever time zone he was in. I'm not disciplined enough to do this. My life is too crazy with kids and everything else, but I love the idea of every day at noon taking my Azurite out. I might start doing it, like set your alarm and take your Azurite out, put it in direct sunlight where it will have no shadows for the full hour until 1 p.m. If you do that every day, he said it would activate what's called the singing effect. Is this interesting to you? I hope it is, because I'm geeking out. Like this is my whole, I was so excited for today's class just to teach you all about Edgar Cayce and Azurite. Because I've never taught this before, so this is whole new information. He said once you activate the singing effect, because it's a feminine stone, and it gets charged by the sun, which activates the duality inside of it, okay? It opens and stimulates the thyroid and the pineal gland for visual and audible channeling. And he said if you activate this singing effect by putting your stone in the sunlight every single day, even if you're not clairaudient or clairvoyant, you will become it. That is what he called the self-initiation of Azurite. The singing effect. So I'll commit to it if you want to commit to it. I'll try to do it. I'm shitty at like doing something every day. Like I mean to do it and then like the kids are fighting or the cat vomits on the carpet or like I have to go live, whatever, like life is busy, right? So I commit to things, but then if it's like every single day I can't do it. Anyway, I'm going to try to set my alarm and do this thing. Now, he said if you can't do this, he had a backup plan. Are you ready? What he said is if you can't do the sun charging, then you can do water charging by sprinkling water on the stone every day. And what he said is it's better if it's solar charged water. So if you can't do it every single day, then take a big pitcher of water out, charge it in the sun for a full day, and then every day at noon, just pour a little bit of that solar charged water onto your stone. That will also activate the singing effect for what he called audio telepathy. Meaning that, okay, he said high noon, 12 noon to 1 p.m., wherever you are. what he said is, what this will allow you to do is place the azurite over your third eye, develop a thought, and then transfer that thought to the other person. This is called telepathy. I'm teaching telepathy in Soul Shift. Is it next month or the month after? I can't remember. I think it's next month. I'm teaching telepathy soon.
We are teaching telepathy.
So telepathy is the process, it's the psychic gift of taking a thought, holding it in your mind, and then transplanting it into the mind of either an animal or a creature, into nature.
It's not next month. Next month is Clairaudience and
That's true.
Clairvoyance, and then it's not...
So maybe it's October.
I think it's...
Or September? No, it's October.
I think it's October. Well,
it's coming.
Yeah.
Okay, so you can do both. And I want to hear everything that happens to you during this whole thing. So your Facebook group is where you need to go to share all this information. Now, the ancient Greeks and the ancient Egyptians were doing the same thing. Why does that make sense? Okay, they were working with azurite in exactly the same way. That makes sense because the ancient Greeks and Egyptians were also Atlantean. They were also Atlantean. So all the Atlanteans, just like the Lemurians were working with Lemurian quartz and that was their jam, they were working with golden healer quartz, like mostly the Brazil minerals, the Atlanteans were working with the African minerals. And most notably, like I said, at least based on what Casey has channeled, right? It's harnessing the sun's energy. But the sun's energy, that's exactly right, Mama Cole, can be translated through either direct solar light or through water that's been charged through solar exposure, noon to 1 p.m. I know our Priestess grid sold out. Alexis is checking to see with our product team if they can restock it, but
we can't restock it tonight. We're out of the azurite obelisks in that size, but we have bigger ones.
Ooh.
So Rosen says she's gonna work on getting it restocked with the larger size. There will be a slight price increase.
Yeah.
And it is going to take a few days.
Okay,
to do
they're
that.
working on it.
But we'll have it next week, hopefully.
They'll have the Priestess grid for you soon. Different size obelisk, which is kind of cool. All right. Now, in Egypt, this is the last little bit of what I have for you on this. In Egypt, there were mystery schools. I know you know this, right? These were the educational organizations for the high priests and priestesses. Only the most sacred priests in Egypt were allowed to work with azurite. So again, you're hearing this from Edgar Casey, but there's also documentation in other sources that the high priests of Egypt could only work with azurite once they graduated from the mystery schools. Right? No, you can get azurite wet. You're not going to hurt it. I mean, I wouldn't sit and submerge it in water. Edgar Casey talked about sprinkling, like literally like a drop. So you take your solar water and just boop. It isn't like, here's a gallon of water, put your azurite in it. You know what I mean? It's literally just a little, so you're not going to hurt anything. Yeah. Okay. Let's see. So you had to be trained. The vibrations were called too strong for the untrained. And it was called a forbidden stone of mastery in ancient Egypt. So you were forbidden to use it unless you were trained and you were a master, which I think is really, really interesting. Now, how did Edgar Casey find azurite? Are you curious? I can't do azurite channeling stones, you guys, and you want to know why? It's impossible to carve this stuff. I don't even know how we did the obelisks, and most of the obelisks broke in the carving process. Azurite is not the strongest stone. It's not the easiest to carve. So I can't do channeling stones for you, but what I would recommend you do is get the little blueberries. The ones that we have, the more affordable ones. Get those and hold that to your third eye. Or wire wrap that and wear it. Edgar Casey said there were two ways to work with azurite. You either had to wear it as a ring or as a pendant. It had to be within an inch of your skin to him. So the ring qualifies or a pendant qualifies, but he believed in order for it to be operating in your energetic field, it had to be within 1 inch of your physical skin. Okay? Now, in 1934, this is one of my favorite parts of tonight's class. It's brief, but it's important. In 1934, Edgar Casey was arrested. True story. For practicing medicine without a license. You know, that's kind of not a good thing to do. I don't do it. I don't recommend you do it. But apparently it was illegal. So he was arrested. And so while he was in jail, his guides told him to, when he was done, that he needed to go to northern Arizona and that he would find a place to meditate, a mine that he needed to enter. I guess it was on the border of New Mexico and Arizona. And that he would find a mine and he would be guided to that mine, and that whatever was in that mine was what he needed to activate his gifts and help him practice healing without practicing medicine, right? To practice it in a good way. And so he went and he found this mine, and it was an azurite mine in northern Arizona. And there's copper-bearing mines up there, so that for sure has to be a true story. He was told during his time in that mine that this was his initiation into fearless trust of his gifts. And his career was propelled after that point. Once he went into that mine, right, his career bloomed. So that is the whole history of the quatrefoil. That is the whole history of azurite. The last thing I want to tell you before we, and I think we should make a pendant out of this. I think we should. We should tell Bonnie we should have these made into pendants too, don't you think?
The ring?
Yeah, the same thing but into a pendant. I would like a pendant.
I'm making it up.
Okay. The last thing I want to tell you. And what I hope is that tonight is going to make you go back into your whole crystal collection and find every single piece of azurite that you have and fall in love with it all over again. Whether it's beads that you have, some of you have azurite beads, or you have the little blueberries. You could put the little blueberries into your cage pendant if you have that. Maybe you guys have a natural piece in your collection, not even from Sage Goddess, but maybe you've had it forever, ever, right? And now you're going to go back and fall in love with it again. It's always my aim. My aim with Crystal Masters is that I get you excited about something that maybe you forgot. Or maybe it's just been sitting there and you still love it, but you're not sure, like, you can't remember the last time you worked with it or whatever. I'm really hoping tonight you're going to go back through your crystal collection and pull out all your azurite and go, oh my God, this is so special now, right? Or maybe you'll start jonesing for like a really juicy crystal piece. Edgar Cayce did say that he thought that the terminated pieces were the most powerful. They're just really fucking expensive. Like, so expensive I don't even bring them to Sage Goddess, not even for our live gem sales, because it's like, I'm not going to bring you like a 1-inch piece of azurite for $1,000. But if you want to go and find that, I promise you there are people on Etsy and eBay probably who would love to charge you that and send that to you. It's out of my budget, but if you can afford it, I think that's great. The last thing I want to tell you is that this symbol of the quatrefoil, right, is also representative of the 4 directions. Okay, and one of the reasons, like I mentioned earlier, how the Celts always saw it as like you not being separate from God, right? You actually being the center of creation. Remember that the 4 directions that it represents, the north, which is grounding, protection, peace, and patience, also connects you to, Alexis and I were talking earlier about animal spirit allies, like buffalo medicine in the north, elk medicine in the north, yak medicine in the north, right? One of the reasons I love Yasmina's cashmere shawls, which I gave you one.
I love one.
It's yak medicine. So whenever you put that on, it's like comfort, grounding, right? Like just feeling like safe, held, protected. It's super root chakra, right? And then in the east, right? So each one of the directions is represented here. In the east, we've got new beginnings, new possibilities, new visions. That's the direction of the big birds, right? Eagle, hawk medicine, being able to rise above and see things clearly from multiple perspectives. In the south, I just got a new talisman for the south the other day that I'm obsessed with. I haven't taken it off since I bought it. I got it at the Malibu Farmers Market this weekend. So I'll tell you about that in a minute. This is an animal spirit guide of the south, which is fire. Animal spirit guides of the south are snake, crocodile. It's in the south. Some people put crocodile in the west, but I see crocodile in the south. This is the skin of a caiman alligator from the Amazon River Basin. They grow to 20 feet in length. And when they kill their prey, they take it underwater for a few months and they hide it. They store it until the flesh gets tender enough to eat. So they kind of like, they store their stuff If it kills you, it doesn't eat you right away. So I've been kind of obsessed with my caiman alligator. But anyway, so alligator in the South for me anyway. And then, but in the South, it's fire energy, right? Transformation, shedding your skin, not taking things too seriously, staying playful, staying, excited and passionate about life. And then in the West, which is the final direction on your ring, in the West, we have the element of water. So you're going to see crow medicine in the West, also whale and dolphin medicine in the West, all the big fish medicine in the West. I love whale medicine. Mm-hmm. Whale is very maternal. She's beautiful to journey with because you can hold on tight to her and she holds you back. Dolphins are extremely communicative and bright and intelligent and can see past, present, future all at once, right? They're multidimensional. That's right. So, and then in the middle, so the reason we put the Azurite Malachite in the middle is, again, to represent that principle of God is never separate from me. The divine is never separate from me. I am part of all four of those elements. I'm made of those elements. I will return to those elements when my life is over, right? I will return to being dust and water and all the things, and air and earth, right? And fire. Some of us will be consumed by fire when we leave, right? So there's a little bit of like you in the middle of all four of those elements.
Love that.
Represented here. Amen. Aho. And so it is. All right. I have talked so much. I've given you a whole bunch of stuff to think about. I know. So now the rest of your time with me, the next hour and 20 minutes, is just every question that's on your mind, and I will get to as many of them as I can. You can take a break if you'd like. Some students, candidly, come to Crystal Masters just for the first half. They just want to hear me talk, and they don't like the Q&A, so you can also sign off and not hurt my feelings. You can also watch this part later. So it's kind of like go at your own pace learning when it comes to class. But I hope you loved it because I had so much to teach you. I know it's funny sometimes when you're like, one little ring, what is she going to teach about for, an hour and a half? But there's so much there between the symbolism and the stones and the country of Morocco itself and how many different traditions honor this symbol. What blew my mind is in this whole book, they never use the word quatrefoil.
It's interesting.
What? They don't use the word. Even in the index, under Q, there's nothing. So you'll see it referred to by different terms and in different ways in different languages. But anyway, namaste to you. Now, the Moroccan hair oil and the goddess hair serum are a little bit different. So the ingredients are slightly different. I have to say, I like this one a little bit more than the old gypsy hair serum. So you should probably try it. It came with your tools. That's your little sample. But some of you have already bought the full size that's in the shop today, and I don't blame you. It's really, really beautiful. And all it is pure argan. It's not diluted with anything. So it's pure argan with essential oils, right? Where do I store charged moon water in a dark place? I store mine in the refrigerator. Is that bad?
No, I was actually gonna say the same thing.
Yeah.
If I'm planning, I store mine in the refrigerator just so it doesn't just so it lasts a little bit longer.
Yeah.
That's just me.
I'm going to pull up the Bagua map because there's lots of really great questions about where to put your altar. And so, and you can look this up on your own too, okay? It's spelled B-A-G-U-A map, okay? This is what I go by. This is feng shui. This is what I go by when I'm deciding where I put my altars in my home. And what you do is you want to, this is southeast, by the way, so this is south and this is north. So, and this is east, and this is west. So what you want to do is stand at the entrance of your room and figure out where the southeast is. This would be southwest, where the northeast is, and the northwest. So if you're building an intuition grid, what a lot of people do is they put it right in the middle of their home because that's physical, spiritual, health, and well-being. But if you're trying to build an intuition grid around love and marriage, you're going to want to put it in the southwest. If you're trying to build your intuition around health and abundance or wealth and abundance, you're going to want to put it in the southeast. There's also spirituality and personal growth down here in the northeast, so that could be good too. Those are my best placements for you when it comes to where to put your grid. And again, if you search Bagua, B-A-G-U-A, in Google, you'll find this. It's easy to find. You can print it out. And then just orient yourself relative to your home or your apartment, or you can even bagua a room, right? Like in my crystal room, the first thing I did was figure out what the southeast corner was and put my Lakshmi grid there. So thank you for that, Tammy. It was so sweet.
I'm putting it in the classroom now.
Yeah, so that's what I do. There are other people who will tell you, oh, do X, Y, and Z, or put it here, there, or the other thing. But I'm a big believer in feng shui. When a tradition has been around for as long as feng shui has been and used and worked with in as many different ways and by as many different people, there's there. You know what I mean? So let me just make sure the lighting is good so you can see me. Okay. Bagua map. I'm glad that's helpful for you.
I'm adding it to the Crystal Masters classroom now, too.
Have you guys ever made moon water ice cubes? I don't know. I do that. Sometimes I'll put flowers in them too from my garden. So if there's certain things blooming at certain moon phases, like I'll take orange blossoms off my tree and take an ice cube tray and put flowers in there and then pour my moon water and make moon water ice cubes. And that way for months, like when you have a really great moon, like a full moon in Taurus for money, right? Or, I don't know, a new moon in Scorpio, right? Which is all about like cultivating mystery and magic and stuff like that. When you have a really great moon and no eclipse, BS to worry about, I make ice cubes.
Bonnie says she can make that pendant.
Yay! Thank you, Bonnie. I love that so much. Jacqueline Wickens is asking about manifestation mist. I have no idea. But if you don't see it on the website, it probably means we don't have it right now. But what I recommend that you do, because there's like 10,000 different things at sagegoddess.com, because we're turning 11 next week. Isn't that crazy? If you're new, Sage Goddess has been around for a minute. I founded Sage Goddess when I was 38, because I'm turning 49. So anyway, there's so many thousands of products. So if there's something you're looking for, put your name on the wait list, and that way when it comes back into stock, because we eventually bring everything we can back. But sometimes it takes 6 months or a year. The pandemic has been a nightmare for all of that, but we do our best to bring things back too. Melanie said, what time were you saying to take your azurite into the sun? So Edgar Casey said noon to 1 p.m. So high noon, right, when the sun is center sky. If you think about it, I was born at 11:29, and my sun is in the 10th house. So anytime between 11:30 and 1:30 p.m., the sun is at the highest point in the sky, and that's what he believed was that kind of like peak charging time for activating the energy of the stone. And if you do the ice cube thing, I would love to see like if you put little flowers and stuff in yours. It's fun. And Zoe and I will make moon water together sometimes. So cute. For the first time ever last month, she did it on her own.
Really?
Mm-hmm. I found a little jar in the hallway where the moonlight was coming through, and she had put crystals in it. Did her own moon water last month. I was very proud.
That's adorable.
It was like a practical magic moment. Like, look.
I only have one window in my house where the moon comes through,
Yeah.
and that's also Felix's window.
Uh-oh.
And so I've had instances where he like knocked it over as he didn't want it.
You got to put it there and like leave it for a second and then yank it out. Cats and their things, man. They can be little jerks when it comes to stuff like that. You want more info on malachite because we didn't talk about it as much? Yes. Okay, so malachite, you know me, I can riff on anything. Malachite is I did want to go back to what I did talk about with malachite. So malachite to him, again, was called ligurius. And what Edgar Casey believed is that, and I don't want to repeat what I said earlier, but just to give you this again, what he believed is that the azurite gave you the intuition and the malachite facilitated the healing. Okay, so the reason that he believed they grow together, and by the way, they grow together in different parts of the world. Azurite malachite grows together in Afghanistan, that combo. It grows together, azurite malachite, in Peru, and that combination grows together in Morocco. This is Moroccan azurite malachite, just to keep it real for the for the class and the ring and the talisman. But that combination is something you see commonly together, Katrina, because they're copper-bearing minerals. They grow together. And you'll often see them also with chrysocolla. We talked about that earlier, and often with manganese, and certainly with copper. So malachite, if you're new to malachite, is a divine feminine healer. Really good for ovaries, cervix, uterus. But it doesn't mean that if you don't have feminine plumbing, it won't work for you, right? What it does is it heals the energetic of the divine feminine, which can also mean healing your heart. Can also mean healing, excuse me, I'm drinking my energy drink and it makes me burp, but I love it anyway. But healing the feminine can also mean healing your softness and your tenderness and your emotions and your heart, right? Remember that malachite is a green stone, which means it activates the green ray, which is all about heart chakra. So even though azurite is very much third eye, and that's the chakra that we're healing and working on this month, malachite for sure is the green ray, is the heart chakra. Interesting story about malachite since we're talking about it. And I like to share this story just to brag a little bit because it's interesting. I was live last week and somebody said, do you source your crystals ethically? And my answer was, every chance we get, yes. I mean, I'm not always at the mine, so I can't say yes, every single crystal, there's nothing in the process that's not sacred and holy, because I don't know, I'm not there. But where we know there are challenges, there are real challenges mining malachite. When you buy malachite, you should always ask if they have the certification, because malachite is dangerous when it's being mined, because when they're mining it and they're picking it, the fibers, the dust, is being inhaled, and it can coat the lungs and it can cause health conditions. That's never going to happen to you from working with malachite stones. Even if you sat and licked a rough piece of malachite all day, that's not going to happen to you. But if you're working 8 hours a day in a malachite mine, picking, and the dust is coming 8 hours a day, 6 days a week for 10 years, yes, you're going to have problems. So we have certification from the Congo that says that our malachite, no one is in the mines for more than a certain number of hours a day, more than a certain number of days a week, that no children are mining the malachite, because that's happened with some people where they send children into the mines, because sometimes the pockets are really tight, so they can only fit little kids in there, and you don't want little kids breathing that. So we're really proud that we have conflict-free and hazard-free malachite. Now, if you buy malachite and you get it at a lower price, they probably are not putting those kinds of conditions in place. My view is I'd rather pay a little bit more and know that it's mined safely, just because the energy of the stone matters to me. But hopefully that's interesting to you in terms of like, how is it mined? Where does it come from? What are the metaphysical properties of it? And why would you want to work with it? It's also called the dualist stone because, and I'll be honest with you, I did not work with it when I was delivering my kids. My daughter was an emergency C-section, and my son was an emergency too. There was no time to grab crystals when my kids were coming. My kids gave me very little notice. But if you have time to plan and put a little cute bag together like moms are supposed to, I would have put malachite in there. It's supposed to make the pain of childbirth easier. I can't testify to that personally because I didn't have it and it totally sucked for me. But I have had friends who've told me that their childbirth pain was less because they were holding malachite. All right, thank you for coming to my TED Talk on malachite. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, so Christiana, that's exactly right. Look at that Bagua map and think about what's your intention. I mean, generically, like I gave you my recommendations for where I would put it just generically based on intuition, but if you have a specific intention that you're working with, then put it in the corner of your home or your room or your condo or wherever you are based on the intention that you want to develop with your intuition. That would be my best suggestion. Let's see. Oh, isn't that interesting? Heather says, loved it. Drawn to most countries in the world using the quatrefoil as a symbol for the ambulance, pharmacies, and hospitals, which again is going to be a healing symbol, which I think is fascinating. Yeah. So, and that they're going to restock the grids with a bigger azurite obelisk, and the product team is working on that. Yeah, and they will give you all the links to the books that I showed you today, but I'm telling you that Marrakesh by Design, it was like a jewel to read. And there's a whole section in there on like magic, and I'll just tell you, if you get this book, make sure you read pages 12 and 13, the introduction. So I'll just read you a tiny bit. It says, magic also influences Moroccan culture and style in surprising ways. Moroccans believe in magic, the good and bad alike. Belief in magic and the supernatural pervades the lives of Berbers in particular. Notions such as baraka, which are divine blessings and good luck, the evil eye, and shur, S-H-U-R, which is sorcery, as well as powers associated with objects, substances, colors, numbers, and symbols are not to be taken lightly. There is a reason why Moroccan doors are painted blue. There is a reason why carpets are covered with motifs and henna designs flourish. In Morocco, protection against the evil eye finds its way into decorative objects on a regular basis, from hand-shaped door knockers, which are a nod to the Hamza, which means 5, to the choice of fibers and substances that have baraka, to shiny metal sequins and pom-poms on textiles to ward off the evil eye, like my wedding blanket, and mischievous genies. Magic is everywhere in Morocco. So make sure if you get this book that you read the introduction. I know some people skip the introductions of books. I'm being such a professor right now. I can tell you as an author, because I'm working on my 4th book, my introductions are always really important. So don't skip the intro when you are reading a book, because your authors are putting a lot of energy into that. I always think of the introduction as like me meeting you and kind of giving you the lay of the land as a writer. So is there a good reason why you put it on the finger next to your thumb? So each one of your fingers, and this is another class, by the way. So Joyce, if you want to learn about the meanings of your fingers, Alexis always has this like information about which month I taught that.
March of 2021.
You can go back to March of 2021, and just by that episode of Crystal Masters, where I teach you about palmistry and the correspondences of all the planets and with your fingers. So that's where you go on the deeper dive for that. And so then it's just about which finger feels most connected to you. The other thing about your ring fingers, which are these fingers, is that historically these have been called the royal fingers. So these are your power fingers. That's why you don't want to point at people, right? You don't want to use your power indiscriminately. So when you point at someone, you are giving them your power. So we don't point at people. They say it's rude, but they don't say why it's rude. And it's actually not rude. It's giving away your power, which I find interesting too. We haven't done Ireland, but that's because we're focusing this year on countries that bring us a lot of crystals. So Ireland does not. Ireland brings a lot of magic, but not a lot of stones to our gem and mineralogical world. So we're focusing on the countries that are really mineral dense. And Morocco certainly is, when you think about it. Vanadinite, fluorite, barite, quartz, and then quartz is included with azurite, malachite, aragonite comes from Morocco, selenite comes from Morocco. So it's a very, very mineral rich and mineral dense country. So each one of the countries that we take you to, like next month we're going to Pakistan, for goodness sake, all the garnets, all the tourmalines, all the, I mean, it goes on and on and on.
Do you have the tools to show?
Oh, yeah. Would you grab it? Yeah, I would love to.
Them.
Yeah, so it's a good reminder. Today is the 14th of July. I'm getting old, so you have to remind me, like, what day it is.
That's why I'm here.
That's why she's there. That's why you have to hire people who are younger than you, honey.
I'm just as old as you in spirit.
You're an old soul, Alexis.
Do you want to set this up with that camera?
Yeah, would you mind? So you have until midnight tonight to get your tools for next month, and I want to make sure you know that. You have until midnight tonight, darling. And we're studying Pakistan next month. So if you're like, I missed the tools, there she is. Her mask was matching her hair today too, by the way.
Oh yeah, and my shirt.
So I know, isn't that cute? She looks so cute with her mask on. COVID is an absolute shit show in California right now, so we're all being, very cautious. But anyway, you have until midnight tonight to subscribe to your tools for Pakistan, and I know you're going to be excited. She's going to show them to you right now. If you don't subscribe by midnight, you cannot get these, because we only make enough for people who subscribe. So if you're ever like, why is there a cutoff at midnight on the 14th? It's because we have to have a number of tools to make. So if you were with me the last couple of weeks,
so it's kind of
I've
like
been teaching you how to do distance healing. Okay, so this isn't the actual mat that you will get. This is the art. Okay, so we are making you a remote healing mat with all of the 7 chakras. So if you've been watching my lives and you've been seeing me do those remote distance healing sessions and distance healing classes, you're now going to have your own 7 chakra mat. And then you're also getting the rose mist with Pakistani rose water. You're getting your stickers. You're getting 4 pieces of salt. And I'll teach you why that's important. And then you're getting all of your chakra stones from Pakistan. So Alexis will show you what those look like.
This is a really cool little set of stones, guys. We got a Pakmir diamond, a tanzanite, a sapphire. Is it hessonite garnet?
I think that's spessartine.
Spessartine garnet.
We need the exact list. Do you have?
Yeah, I don't.
Yeah, she can grab it. She'll get the exact list because I don't want to misidentify the stones for you. But it's an amazing set of tools for your $40 because you get the mat and the salt and the rose water, which you're going to mist over everything before you start, and you get the entire chakra stone set. But you have to subscribe to your tools by midnight tonight. If you think you're going to forget, you should actually go and do it now because you only have 6 hours left to do it before time runs out.
Pakmir diamond.
Yep, that's for your soul star.
Purple scapulite.
Scapulite for the crown.
Blue sapphire.
For your third eye.
Aquamarine.
Throat.
Peridot.
Heart.
Yellow sphene.
For your solar plexus.
Orange grossular garnet.
Grossular garnet, not spessartine. That's right, because spessartine is Africa. Grossular garnet for your sacral.
Red zircon.
For your root.
And melanite garnet.
And melanite garnet for your earth star chakra. So yeah, I'm glad you asked that because otherwise I probably would have forgotten to tell you to go and register for your
I would have reminded you.
she would have. Whatever I forget, Alexis remembers. So I'm glad we talked about that. Yeah. Let's see. That's exactly right, Jan. Yeah, really, really good. Let's see. Celtic and Irish symbols, we won't be talking about them this month just because we're not covering that. But I will tell you, I have taught about the Celts in the past. And so it might be worth your while just to go onto YouTube and search because we've done Celtic rituals and ceremonies and we've talked about almost all of the Celtic spiritual practices and traditions, and certainly in Soul Shift in the past and Magical Sabbatical we've talked about the Celts. So there's probably a month back there where you would enjoy going back and tracing that lineage too. A lot of you have Celtic and Irish lineage, so I totally understand the excitement. The only problem is Ireland doesn't deliver the stones. Wales gives us Presley Bluestone, which is pretty great, but the United Kingdom is not a wealth of stones, unfortunately.
They're asking to see the Soul Shift tools too. You want me to
Yeah, they'll show you the Soul Shift tools. It is going to be cloth, Candace. So yeah, that's why I was saying this isn't the cloth that you're going to be getting. It's a picture of it. It's an actual cloth. The healing mat is a cloth, which I think is really cool. That way you can fold it up and travel with it. You don't have to worry about bending it. So that was my request. I wanted an actual cloth. Even for my own healing purposes, when I travel, like that will be stored in my Sage Goddess travel bag that we got at the beginning of the year. So unfortunately, I don't have just the mats. But I'll tell you something, even if we did have the mats separately, it would still be probably $40. So basically you're getting all of the stones and everything for free. Yeah, so she's going to show you. These are the Soul Shift tools if you would like them. They're beautiful because we're doing a sacred apothecary theme for Soul Shift for August. So you're going to get all your herbs. We have these custom-made little, like a cabinet for all of your herbs.
It's really cute.
It's really pretty. We're still a little small shop, so we can't do lots separate. When we have extras, we bring them to you, but in general, we have to do things in sets. So yeah, you get this really cool hexagonal storage container. It has a really hard to open.
It's good. No, I was just trying to do it wrong. It's not hard to open. I was trying to pull because I wasn't looking. It's a twist.
Yeah.
And then you've got your little compartments, and these come out.
Isn't that cool?
I'm not.
To hold all your herbs.
You get the herbs. Super cute. And these are all herbs that are used in Pakistan.
Yeah, we actually imported them from Pakistan too.
All for our intuitive gift of clairaudience.
Yeah, so we're doing clairaudience and clairgustance, so taste and smell.
And then you get your
Pakistani incense, your Gugo incense.
And then
we're crafting evil eye talismans for your home to help deflect the evil eye and keep you safe. And then we're making perfume together.
Which I thought I brought. Oh, wait. I thought I brought the sample. We had a pre-made. We have a sample of this as well. But
So we're going to bead these together. This is our crafting.
yeah, it's gonna be
Isn't
so
that beautiful?
cute.
The angel wings behind me were made by my friend, and they actually come out of the stand. Isn't that cute? So they're little agate wings. And when she sent them to me, they were on a black stand, and I didn't love it, so I took it outside and spray painted it gold. Which, anytime you get a stone on a stand, and if it's a black stand, and you're like, I wonder what that would look like in gold, it made that pop. And all I did was go on Amazon and get gold spray paint and painted that outside. So it's nothing special. But thank you for asking about it, Stephanie. Good books for studying Edgar Cayce. I have some at home in my library. There's a lot out there. What I would do is go on Amazon and go buy the reviews. There's so many books about him and his life. He's such a figure of mystery, you know, and most of my wisdom about Edgar Cayce comes from my friend who studied at the Cayce Institute. So most of what I know about Edgar Cayce comes from her stories that she shared with me over the years. But if you find a great book that you like, let me know. And I'll search my library too, because I like to read too. I'm a reader, Lori. I always have like 6 books in progress at any point in time. I'm a book hoarder. So, yeah, the Moroccan by Design book, the author is Maryam Montague, Maryam Montague. But if you, Gloria, if you search Moroccan by Design in Amazon, it'll pull right up for you. You want bloodstone or axonite Vogels for pain relief. We have done bloodstone Vogels. Axonite Vogels I won't be able to do because you can't carve axonite. It's just not, I mean, you can. We had axonite spheres at one point, but they were so expensive because more than half of it broke in the carving process because axonite is a unstable crystal structure. But we have brought you bloodstone Vogels before. So what I would do is I would go to the bloodstone Vogel listing. Karen can probably post it for you. I don't think they're in stock, but add your name to the wait list because every time we bring a product back at Sage Goddess, we notify the wait list. So you'll instantly get an email and be told, hey, this is coming back into stock too. Does sage kill COVID? No, but I wish it did. Yeah, I know. Well, you could put your crystals in that little box. Wouldn't that be cute? I mean, I'm not going to tell you what to do. I love it when you guys get creative and do your own thing. So, how do you use Moroccan hair serum? So, for me personally, because my hair is very fine, I only use serums from about here down, just on my ends. I don't use it up at my scalp because it makes my hair greasy. But just a little bit in your hands and then pull it through your ends is all you have to do. And like I said, this is skin safe too. And one of the things I want to tell you is, you know these lines? Do you guys get these? They call them like sleep lines, the little fine lines on your face. I don't have a ton of them, but I have some. Look when I smile, you can see them. Argan oil is really good. See these little lines right here? And these little critters right here? Argan's really good for softening the appearance of those lines. So what I would recommend you do is take just a little bit of that. After you're done pulling it through your ends, take a little bit of that in your hands, smile, and then put it on your little shitters. They're little shitters, those little lines. I mean, we shouldn't get wrinkles because we're happy. It's shitty. So I call those little shitters. I have those lines because I smile a lot. If I was like this all the time, I wouldn't have any wrinkles. But I'm not like this all the time. I smile a lot. I don't think we're doing mats with the artwork from the book because we did this mat instead. And we can't do both. So yeah, if you want a crystal healing mat from me with a goddess on it, I think this is the best one for you to work with. Yeah. Let's see. You sleep on a silk pillow? I do too. I've been sleeping on silk for 10 years. Still get shitters. I do recommend sleeping on silk. It's good for your skin. It's good for your hair. It helps your hair not break. You know what I mean? Because cotton and other fibers are harsh on your hair. So Bella Blue works so good on the wrinkles. Bella Blue is one of the best. If you want to know the skincare product in my arsenal at Sage Goddess that's really good for wrinkles, and you know what else I use Bella Blue for? The balm for my hands. I had age spots on my hands, a couple of them coming. It faded all my age spots, and it has completely changed the texture of the top of my hands. Because, our signs of aging start here in women, and they start here. Bella Blue on your hands and your neck will help get rid of the turkey neck. I'm going to give you a whole tutorial soon on all of that. You can absolutely use the serum by itself, yeah. But use it on your skin and your hair. Don't just use it. I mean, I know we call it hair serum, but argan is really good. Do your own research. Google argan oil for the skin. The skin is the largest organ on your body. So everything you put on your skin is being consumed, right? It's being digested by your body. So, yes. You slide around too much? I love silk pillowcases. I really do. My favorite company to buy them from, but they don't have them anymore, is Johnny Was. You know about Johnny Was? If not, I'm sorry, because I'm introducing you to something really naughty and dangerous. Johnny Was's clothes and purses, but their pillowcases, their silk pillowcases, are the most beautiful you'll ever see. They're actually headquartered, I think, here in LA. Anyway, I have one. I'll be honest with you, I bought mine on eBay because I went to the website and they were really expensive, and I found them on eBay for less. So if you go to johnnywaz.com and you fall in love and you don't want to pay all of that, find the product that you like and then go over to eBay and then do what I do. Right now, my favorite retinol, we're developing a retinol serum, by the way, at Sage Goddess, but right now my favorite retinol serum is called XX by Monastery. That's my favorite. Joy said, early U.S. buildings, monuments, monetary items have so many symbols with alchemy or spiritual roots. With Pluto return ascension, are we naturally turning back to these traditions? I think so. It's an interesting question, Joy Klein, because my friend Momo just did a video. It's not public yet. I've seen the raw version of it, and I cannot wait to be able to share it with you because it's absolutely incredible. Like, you'll have chills all over your body when you see it. But one of the things he said in the video, which I think is so absolutely true, is that, we always think about our ancestors as being like behind the times, right? Or like backward, or like not as advanced, or not as knowledgeable. But what he said in his video, and I think it's true, is I think our ancestors were actually more advanced than we are. I mean, when you think about it, like outside the Vatican, there are pine cones, right? What does the pine cone symbolize? The pine cone represents the pineal gland, right? Your wisdom and your intuition. When you cut the brain in half and you do this, you have the left and right eye of Horus. It looks exactly like it, right? Walnuts look just like the brain. So when we eat walnuts, did you know this? Walnuts are really good for your brain. I have friends who eat a couple of walnuts a day, every single day. They're very particular about what kind of walnuts. There's a company that they recommend that I can show you if you really want to know. But anyway, they eat 3 to 5 walnuts every day, not for the flavor or for the diet, but to maintain brain health because they have Alzheimer's in their family. And there's a lot of research that eating walnuts can help to prevent, the kind of the degeneration of brain tissue. So, I mean, this I could talk to you about all day long. But to answer your question in a short way, I really do think we're returning to some of these ancient ways of knowing and being. And I do think that our ancestors were more advanced than we are. Now, we have things they don't have, right? Like, did they have cars? No. But I'm telling you, there's hieroglyphs of helicopters. They look just like fucking helicopters. So, did they have means of transportation? I think they did. I think it's all been lost. And what Momo was saying in his video, which I think is really true, is that, most of the records were lost. So, there's a lot of wisdom that we're never going to have access to from Atlantis and Lemuria, from ancient Greece and Rome even, and Egypt. I mean, Alexander the Great, one of the reasons he's an idol of mine, is that he was the one responsible for salvaging all of that Egyptian wisdom and information and making sure that the Greeks had access to it. And that's what the libraries of Alexandria were all about, right? So anyway, I mean, I find this all fascinating, but I really do think that we are kind of like, how you have to sometimes go backward to go forward? Like, I really do think that we're going back and picking up some of these wisdom lines and these traditions and then bringing that wisdom forward in a new way so that we can work with it today. But the idea that somehow our ancestors just didn't know things or didn't have things, it's absolutely not true. And we also have absolute proof that our ancestors were working with psychedelic medication. And what psychedelics do is they allow you to jump timelines, right? So nothing is past, nothing is future. It's all in this present moment when you're in a psychedelic state, when you're in a state of, awareness outside of the third dimension. So you, in that state, you pull wisdom from all timelines and all dimensions, and it's all happening here in this present moment. So anyway, I hope I'm not digressing, but Alexandria, is it really, Joy? Alexandria is one of my favorite names. Alexander is one of my favorite boys' names. If I had another son, I would have named him Alexander. Yeah. So it's Alexandros in Greek, right? So yeah. Coconut oil for Alzheimer's? Interesting. I slather myself in coconut oil every day. I do. All over my body. It's how I take my makeup off. It's my moisturizer for my, my body in general. It helps with like irritation, dry skin. It's such a good anti-aging. My brother is very youthful. I'm turning 49, so he's turning 60 this year. You would not think he's 60. And his secret is just raw coconut oil on his face. He's aged really well. Now he's also a vegan. And I do think vegans age better because I don't think animal protein is great for us. Having said that, I'm not giving it up.
It's so good.
I love me a good burger. There's a new burger place here in South Bay. I have to remember to tell you on delivery on DoorDash.
What's it called? Or you
I'll show you later.
No, it's funny that
Holy
you
shit, burger place.
It's funny that you say that because that's kind of Karen and my thing. Like I'll just randomly text message her during the day and be like, I want a cheeseburger.
I'm making my favorite chef on Instagram is Half Baked Harvest. I also love Salt and Lavender, but do you follow Half Baked Harvest? You will love Half Baked Harvest. If you're not following them and you're a cook like me, you've got to follow Half Baked Harvest. So tomorrow I'm making her homemade Caesar salad with homemade Caesar dressing. And then she breads her chicken in pretzels. You put them in the food processor and you bread it with flour and pretzels to make it extra crunchy. So I'm making homemade Caesar salads with pretzel chicken for lunch for me and the kids tomorrow.
That sounds good. I love pretzels.
I'm really excited about it. You will love Half Baked Harvest. Anyway, we're digressing. When Alexis and I start talking about food, it's like the whole conversation just goes in a whole different direction. It's probably the Bella Blue AHA if your age spot disappeared, because the alpha hydroxy acids in the Bella Blue AHA serum, which is alpha hydroxy acids, will fade with the age spots. Although I will tell you, even before we had the AHA cream, which I use now on my face, I still use the Bella Blue serum or the balm on my hands. Faded an age spot. I had one right here, and it's gone. And the only thing I used was Bella Blue balm. In my lineage, age spots are like a thing. Like not good. My ancestors don't age well. If yours do, then great, congratulations, and I'm super jelly. My ancestors age like Shar-Pei dogs. So if you have my genetics, you're working overtime. You are climbing an uphill mountain if you have my genetics. Now my dad's side is great. They age beautifully, but my mom's side, if she was here, she would even tell you like it's pretty shitty. Let's see what else you guys have questions about. Do you have to put the azurite outside in the sun or can be inside in the sun? Jerry, he was talking about very direct sunlight exposure. You don't have to leave it out there all day, like even just a few minutes, I think. Remember, there's no time in the spirit world, right? So, boom. I mean, like right here I have great solar exposure in the window, but I still think it's good to have unmitigated solar exposure for your azurite. Let's see. It was a great question. Please go over how to remove negative energy from a room for Leslie. Yeah. I have worked with the Silva method. Well, the Silva, let me talk about the Silva method. Jose Silva works with vibration for manifestation. We won't talk about it too much now because that's a whole rabbit hole and you can find all of that on YouTube. But there's a lot of data behind the Silva method because the Silva method is now several decades old. There is I don't have my computer to check it. It doesn't matter. I'll post it later. But there is one video from Jose Silva that's just a frequency. It's a binaural beat that I play sometimes while I'm sleeping, just very low in the room because I like white noise when I'm sleeping, and it takes you into a theta state. So anyway, I'll find that link and I'll share it with you.
Which one? What's it called?
Jose Silva on YouTube, and then it's I think it's described as a binaural. I have the link saved in my bookmarks, so I'll send it to you guys if you can't find it.
I'm looking at Bring Al.
It's like an 8-hour recording.
8 hours. There's a lot.
I know.
Of them.
When you go down the Jose Silva rabbit hole, you're going down a rabbit hole, honey. I can't pull you out.
8 hours.
But it's an interesting rabbit hole.
And it's for
manifestation, but it's like while you sleep.
Manifestation. Okay.
Let's see. I'm glad you love the eye balm. So let's talk about, since Christiana asked, and I think she's asking for Leslie, let's talk about how to clear negative energy from a room. My favorite technique for doing this is called the pool table method. And so we can do it right now. This room is very clear because we're constantly smudging it, and it's a newer room. It's only been in existence for 2 years. This part of the Sage Goddess building didn't exist when we moved in. So we actually had to build an entire second story on this building. And we did that during COVID, which was not easy to do. I mean, thank God we're done, because the price of concrete and steel and everything else now would have cost twice as much to build this. But anyway, my office and the whole wing back here didn't exist. So we had to build it. We poured crystals into the foundation and all kinds of things, so it's super, super high vibrational back here. But anyway, so what you do is any room that you're in, you can close your eyes and just visualize that the 4 corners of that room are like pockets of a pool table, okay? And what you want to visualize is that those pockets, you can send energy down those pockets, and those pockets are sort of like passageways down into the earth. So what you want to do is you want to visualize the room, ask your spirit guides to turn any negative or low vibrational energy a color. I always have them turn it indigo blue, but you can have them turn it red or whatever you want. But I always say, spirit guides, any negative energy in the room, turn it blue. A beautiful, vibrant indigo. And now spirit guides liquefy that energy. So we're going to turn it a color, liquefy it, and then ask the spirit guides to pour that energy down the 4 corners of the room. And those 4 corners, we ask that they act as pockets to hold and retrieve that energy, and that those pockets sink down directly into the earth itself, which can transform and transmute any of those energies into higher vibrational forms of energy. So we ask that as we send the energy down the 4 corners, it's transformed and transmuted into usable white light. And just give it a minute and enjoy. Like, I love it. I drop into kind of a trance when I'm doing this, because you can feel the energy really shifting and moving. You can even ask that any energies attached to you in your auric field turn indigo, liquefy, and pass through the 4 corners. And what I like about this party trick, I can do it with my eyes open while I'm talking to you. You don't even know what I'm doing. So sometimes, I don't know about you, but I find myself in places I don't want to be. Like, hey, let's go here for dinner. And you go there and the restaurant's got all kinds of fucked up energy. Or, hey, let's go to this party with these people who turn out to be really weird. Or, hey, let's, not as much as when I was young. When I was young, I would get talked into stuff like, hey, let's go to this party with my friend Jojo. And it's like, holy shit, where the hell am I, right? And now your friend's here and your friend's gone, and that was your ride. So now you're stuck with Jojo, and it's a shithole. So this is you can be like, hi, Jojo, it's so nice to meet you. And at the same time, you're like, I am liquefying all energy that's not in service to my highest good right this very minute, and I'm turning it indigo, and I'm sending it down the 4 corners. Boom, go. You're liquefying everything, right? The most important thing about that technique, it's awesome because you can do it without anybody knowing what you're doing, is that as soon as you send it down and it's liquefied and it's out the 4 corners, then what you have to do, because the universe does not accept a vacuum. Okay, this is a principle of physics. If there's emptiness, the universe will fill it, right? That's just how space works. So you don't want to create a vacuum of energy, like remove energy without replacing it with something else, or else the universe will go default and replace it with whatever is available. And usually it replaces it with something of a similar vibration to what you just released, which is like not the point, right? So now what you want to do is you want to visualize calling in really beautiful divine white light, like selenite light, right? And then pull that from the 4 corners of the ceiling, pull that down into the room, And ask your spirit guides to replace any energy that was released with this beautiful white selenite light. And just filling in every pocket, every vessel, every nook and cranny. And that's it. And then you can be like, what's up, Jojo? I'll hang out at your party. Never going anywhere with this friend again, but...
But JoJo's cool.
JoJo's all right. And meanwhile, JoJo usually is like, God, I like having you here. The energy just feels so good when you're here. And you're like, that's right, JoJo. I got the skills, JoJo.
We are getting a couple questions about why we didn't do the 20-minute pre-party before.
We forgot.
Yeah. I genuinely don't think we were.
It wasn't on my
knew
calendar.
It
Genuinely, it wasn't on my calendar. I was here. I feel really bad.
Yeah, but we came up with a solution. So we're going to meet with you. You guys, in case you didn't know.
Sometimes we just fuck up.
In case you didn't know, we have an exclusive SGTV for you guys and Soul Shift members on Tuesday, this coming Tuesday. Mm-hmm. It's at 3 p.m. Pacific time. Yep. So the only people that will be there are students. So you guys always really love it when we do it because there's a little bit less competition. So what we're going to do is we're going to meet with you 20 minutes in advance, right? Earlier.
Yeah. No,
we'll meet with you 20 minutes early and we'll just kind of hang out.
We'll do champagne then.
Yeah, and it'll be good because we can get all of the chit chat out of the way.
Yeah, and we really do pick special things for that sale that we think, like, as she and I go through the other sales, we're always like, no, hold that one for the members only sale. We really do.
We have rainbow chakra guardians, we have wands, we just have some really, really cool stuff, so you guys don't want to miss it. Come hang, even if you're not shopping, just come hang out with us. And Karen just pinged you the link, and the link is in your online classroom as well.
Yeah, Sally was saying that really? She says she's not seeing that there was Bloodstone Vocals on the website. I know there were. Would you mind finding it? And then Nevin can give Heather Winkler the link. I know we did. In fact, it wasn't that long ago that we had them. Like, maybe in the last couple of months. So we'll find it for you. It's interesting, Sally, that you mentioned that about your hair since COVID, because I've had about half a dozen friends who did not get vaccinated but did have COVID who've had really advanced hair thinning and hair loss. So I do think it's the virus itself. And they've come up with a lot of really interesting techniques and strategies for trying to get their hair to thicken. And one of my dearest friends who got COVID and had immense hair loss and hair thinning swears by Nioxin shampoo. So that may be something you want to try. But these are all people who were not vaccinated, so it's really interesting that they've had all that hair loss and just from having COVID.
Interesting.
Yeah, Nioxin shampoo, try it. Let's see. Yeah, Vanya, I love Flora. I love Aloe. So good, the monastery products. Aquarius full moon starseed grids separate. No, we're not going to separate the kits, but I think we put what we had left into stock today, didn't we, of the starseed sets for the full moon? Did we double check on that?
Yes,
I think we did.
Double check now. I'm looking up the Bloodstone.
And she's looking for the vocals too.
Bloodstone vocals are unfortunately out of stock.
But is there still a link where they can join a waitlist?
Yes,
okay.
I'll ping that right now.
So she's got the waitlist link for you, Heather Winkler, so she'll send that, or she'll post it for you. Charlie Cotley said, I took last month's scent tools, the Vanilla Rose Massage Oil. Isn't it wonderful? It's so good for your skin. I'm so glad you're loving it. It really does. One of the ways I like to use that is before shaving. Yeah, I really love to use it before shaving. And you can, I dilute that with a little bit of coconut oil and use it on my legs, kind of massage it in before I take a bath or a shower and then shave. You'll be amazed at what a better shaving experience you have. Let's see. I know our questions are kind of all over the board tonight, but it's kind of fun.
It's okay.
Let's see. I'm here for it. So as long as you guys are having fun, I'm totally down. The brand of nuts on Amazon that you want to get, and this is from my super picky food people, because they make them with Himalayan salt, is called...
Oh, that's interesting.
Mm-hmm. It's called Farm Fresh Nuts. This is the brand. They're expensive, but they're dry roasted, and they use pure pink Himalayan salt. And they have all the different nuts. So if you go to the Farm Fresh Nuts store, you can get just almonds, just cashews, just walnuts, or you can get the mixed nuts. And I will tell you there is a difference. You know, I'm a nut person. I do like nuts. I can't eat too many of them or I gain a lot of weight. I can't drink juice and I can't eat nuts. As soon as I do that, I gain 5 pounds. But a couple of walnuts a day I can do without, and a couple of cashews a day I can do without gaining weight. So yeah.
I just think the Starseed sets, they're in stock aside from Syrian, which is out of stock.
The Syrian. You guys are all Syrian. I'm not taking it personally. I'm Arcturian, and that's like the least popular one.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, I've never been a cool kid, you know what I mean? I've always been an outsider, so.
I actually resonate with Lyran, but it's not, we didn't choose that one because it's also not one of the more popular ones, and I do resonate with Pleiadian.
I think you're Pleiadian.
I feel like that's the one everyone wants to be, you know?
I feel like nobody wants to be Arcturian because we are Atlantean, and the Atlanteans have a bad rap. But we brought you language and technology. You know what I mean? I know we're not Pleiadian and we didn't bring you love and light, sorry. But we brought you language and structure. And you need that. So anyway. I think our ancestors were far more advanced, curious, open. Yeah. I love that. Yeah, walnuts are good. It's just too many nuts. And seriously, I gain weight, so. But I have to watch all my calories or I gain weight. So if you have a fast metabolism, you're just luckier than I am. Yeah, I agree with you, Dinah. Well, there were a couple of like primary change points, I would say, in history. The Dark Ages were one. Anytime we've had major tectonic shifts, like land movement shifts or weather shifts, you always see a shift in the energy and also a shift in kind of human priorities, you know, which can lead us to advancements and growth and development, and it can also, you know, wind us back into, you know, places and stages where we don't have as much of our wisdom. So
I'm just gonna step in,
because
I was trying to say this last night, but I think my comments were being overlooked, but I'm seeing a lot of just like I feel like people are hesitating on the Starseed sets or what set to get because you're just not sure which one is you. Just choose what resonates with you. And I also did want to say, if you don't know which one you are, I highly suggest getting the one that has the energy of what you're trying to embody. Yeah. It doesn't necessarily need to be what you are, but if you're trying to embody wisdom, or you're trying to embody strength, or love, choose based off of that, because you can work with these sets that way as well.
The reality is, you're not ever going to know in this lifetime truly where you came from. This is your star origin. So some of us have a good hunch, and like I've been shown certain things in plant journeys and things that tell me I am Arcturian, but you know, it's like, I don't think we're just one either. I think you can be both Arcturian and Syrian at the same time.
I agree. And I think maybe that's why I was kind of resistant to the Pleiadian thing, because it's just like, I personally don't really need a set for that, because I already have a lot of that. What did they say?
Chris Ann said, my pendulum said hers is planning. I love the idea that you would use your pendulum to choose.
Yeah.
That's a great
that is
technique.
A really great idea.
Yeah. I need a link for spicy pistachios, please, Saya. So just as soon as you can possibly provide that to me, I would really appreciate that.
That sounds amazing.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's true. I think you might be more than one. And and there's no right or wrong. You know, with certain things in life, there's right or wrong. Like your physical material lineage in this lifetime, like you either are Russian or you're not Russian, right? I mean, it's not like you're going to choose or like, oh, I feel like I'm intuitively more this. But when it comes to your star origins, there's no data, right? So we kind of have to go with our intuition and kind of what feels right to us. So.
And Nancy said this isn't algebra. It's true though. It's not. It's
sometimes we wish it was, but
yeah.
Rochelle said she's Lyran too. Remember the Lyrans. It's one of the least common of the star systems, which is one of the reasons why we didn't bring it as part of the set, because it's just like it's hard for us to build these sets. It takes a long time, and we had to kind of narrow it down. The Lyrans are interesting because they are servant leaders. They're really here to serve the collective, and they work really hard to do that. it's not hard work for them. It would be hard work for me or for you if you're not Lyran, but for them it's like just naturally how they are, but they're here to raise the collective vibration, and they're here to support the evolution of the human species. So there's very much this essence, this energy of like service, and what's interesting is there's almost no ego to it for them. They're not doing it for credit. They don't need their name to be listed on the roster. Do you know what I mean? Like, they're doing it because there's a soul drive to do it. And they derive a lot of satisfaction from service. And it's beautiful. I believe most of the women in my line have that Lyran vibration. My mom was just in service. Like, whatever you needed, whenever you needed it. And she was selfless. Almost to the point of, like, martyrdom. You know what I mean? But she wasn't resentful, because it was just like, this is what she's here to do. Whereas if you're not Lyran and you don't have that natural inclination, then service starts to feel like an expectation, and you get resentful.
And for me, I like being in positions of service. That's why I do what I do, and I think when I'm outside of that is when I'm the least comfortable. Like, I like being of service. I do. But I don't really, it's interesting because we didn't go that deep into in the listing because we didn't want to confuse people further. That's why we did keep it vague.
Sometimes less is more.
we did a soul shift worksheet on this a few years ago. Yeah. And there were, like, the physical qualities we went into for each one, I didn't really resonate with the physical qualities for Lyran, because I'm like, well, I am not athletic. I mean, I like to bike ride and, like, rollerblade. I guess that's kind of athletic, actually.
Kind of athletic,
now that I think about it. Never mind. I guess I'm Lyran. And Pleiades.
She just changed her mind.
She just changed her mind. I guess I am athletic.
I know. Kathy's asking, can disease come from a physical origin, or is it always spiritual? It's a great question. You know, it depends on who you talk to. Most healers I know and trust, and I'm talking about healers from all traditions, like even, you know, Chinese medicine practitioners and Ayurvedic practitioners, 90% of them point to a spiritual or energetic source of disease. And that's why you have to be really careful with energy, right? It's like I always say, you can do shadow work, but don't get stuck into your shadow. You can experience grief and loss and sorrow, but you got to move the energy. My whole teaching, my whole way of being in the world is to try to teach you how to move energy, because shit's going to happen to everybody. Being human is just part of the experience, but if you don't move that energy, if it sits stuck in your system, then it starts to create imbalances, right? So from my perspective, every illness and disease is a result of energetic imbalance. Now, can that be physical or have a physical origin? Of course it can, right? Like, some people live too close to chemical plants that have dangerous things, and, you know, and so that can create all kinds of imbalances in the system. But it's also about, like, the emotions and the energies that you surround yourself with, and making sure that those are positive, and that when they're not, you're aware of it enough, and you don't do something that we call contract on it. So, like, when my mom died, you know, I could feel myself contracting on it, meaning I was just in that grief, and I was like this, and you have to expand and, you know, like, literally move the energy through, because when we contract and get small and pull everything in, the body just holds the energy. What's the name of that book? The Body Keeps the Score, or whatever. So part of the trick to overriding the effect of energy on the physical body is just to notice when you're in a dense energetic state and making sure that you're moving the energy. One of the cool things about azurite malachite is that it's a copper-bearing mineral, and so it moves energy. Copper conducts energy. It's the best and most efficient conductor of any metal on the planet. And these are all ores of copper. So whenever you feel like you're contracting, wear this on your left hand, which means you're going to be receiving the energy, right? The energy of copper itself. That's also why we give you, like, copper spheres and copper merkabas and copper wands. Like, if you see those things at Sage Goddess and you're like, why does she bring so much copper? I'm a big believer that copper is one of our best allies in the process of moving energy. Because, like I said, we're not going to be able to avoid sadness, grief, energetic disruptions. We're just not. If you're human and you're doing the work and showing up and engaging with other humans and all their shit, like, at some point you're gonna have to move energy, right? So it's a great question, Kathy. I hope that was a helpful answer for you. Yeah, interesting. I love seeing how your pendulum is is telling you what your starseed origin is. I really like that. The B vitamins are great for memory. B vitamins are great in general. There's a place here in LA where you can go and just get injections of B vitamins. I do that if I'm going somewhere tropical, because if I get a B vitamin injection before I travel, I don't get bitten by mosquitoes. Because they can smell it on your skin and they don't like it. And plus it turbocharges your metabolism, so you can overeat on your vacation and not gain weight. So it's kind of stingy. The place that I go for B12 shots, it stings for a few minutes, so I can't really talk my kids into it, but I go and do it. It's stingy. It stings for like 5 minutes, like big sting. But
it's worth it.
But then you don't get the other stings.
Yeah.
Mosquitoes eat me alive.
And it itches. That's what I can't stand. Itching.
But do you know about Bite Away?
No.
So Bite Away is this little thing you get on Amazon, and it's a little, I introduced my friend Christine to it. It's like a little wand, and you press the button, and it gets really, really hot, and you push it on your bite, and it burns really bad for a second, but then the itch is completely gone.
Bite Away?
Bite Away. I carry one in my travel bag. So if my B12 shots don't work, then I use Bite Away. And I mean, literally, because I will welt up from mosquitoes. One zap with Bite Away, and there's no itch.
Oh yeah, it's like a little pen looking thing.
It's a magic hot stinger biter wand. It's not fun, but listen, if you're itching enough, you will burn the shit out of yourself with that thing and be happy about it. So, Alexa said, if you use Nioxin, you need to continue use and not stop at all. Hair can go back to the way it was before. Yeah, so you got to be kind of consistent with it. I've heard that too. Yeah, Orion was another civilization that we didn't really focus on so much. The Orion civilization is a lot of magic, transformation energy. They're shapeshifters from Orion. Sometimes the Orion civilization, in my experience, will seem like they're one thing, but they're actually another. It's just they're hard people to get to know. Do you have friends like that where you're like, I think I know her, but like I'm not sure I know her, because sometimes she's like this and sometimes she's like that? Those are usually the Orion people. Mm-hmm. They're a little shifty. Not in a bad way, but it's just like, can't quite put your finger on them. You know what I mean? They're complex is I guess what I would say. So I'm glad. Well, yeah, so you know, if you feel called to both, I think it's good that you got the one that you could, and then see how the energy feels with you. Yeah, Candace said, I redid the December Soul Shift Starseed quiz, and it was interesting to see the difference between 2019 and now. I'm a bit of them all.
Yeah, I tied between 3 of them.
Yeah.
I got 3 answers, and I got 3 for 3.
Interesting. I have not studied the Dropa stones from China, Deborah. But Deb, I would love to know more, so send me some 411. I would love to know more. I love, finding new rabbit holes to go down. And I'm always finding new things. It's like you think, I don't know about you. I guess for a while I thought I was going to get to the point where I had kind of seen it all, done it all when I was younger. Now, at my age, I'm like, I'm never going to see it all in this lifetime. There's still so much more I don't know. And every time I turn a corner, it's like, oh. Constant examples of that, where it's like, wow, I just had no idea. Yeah, we're going to try, Jojo, we're going to try to do a necklace. We are, for sure. Isn't that interesting, Amal? Amal said, I don't feel comfortable at all seeing malachite or working with it. And do you know you're not the only one? I have a lot of clients who just do not feel called to malachite. And I always tell people, if you're not called, leave it alone. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? I do have some clients sometimes who are like, I guess I really should try working with Tibetan quartz. And it's like, not if you don't feel it. You know what I mean? But I have seen that change over time too. Where somebody will say, gosh, for the first 20 years of my crystal journey, I just felt no relationship to whatever it is. And then all of a sudden this year, and it's like, that's why we always say, like, maybe it's not your medicine. And that can change over time. So it can go from being something that you're completely turned off by. Yeah. Let's see. Kaz said, oh, you're so sweet. Thank you for always being there, Kaz. Really appreciate you. Yeah, Valco salt is really special. I put some in my bath this morning. I'm not using very much because I only have my 1 jar and, there's no more of it. So, yeah. We did, Leah, we had little tiny guardian fairies. So she's working on another set for me soon, but it's not little ones. But I'll see if I can talk her into it for you. Oh, really? Madonna said today's Psychic Priestess Grid said it's a hexagon in the description, but it's actually a pentagon. Can you let the writers know that? Because it is a pentagon.
Yes.
Good catch there. I'm an editor by training, Madonna, so shit like that drives me crazy. But, you know, it's a quick, easy mistake to make, but we'll correct that. Thank you for catching it, because it is 3,000% a pentagon. I was live with you with it earlier, so let's see. Did it help you, Melanie Moonbeam? What was your experience with it? Oh, I like that. Yeah, Karen Kelly said she's got a different technique. So, which in her comment she said, because she mentioned that I'd taught the pool table technique before. So what she does is she imagines, I like this, the negativity being pushed out into the pockets by a white light waterfall. So then there's no vacuum. I love that. That's how I'm going to do it from now on. Do you like that too as a visual? Like the negative energy is being pushed out by the white lights, then you don't have to come back in and do a second step. I really, really like that. Oh, good. Bianca says, saw palmetto for hair thinning. Very good to know, by the way. Shram is in India, but he sometimes comes to the U.S. He has a place in on the East Coast. I can't remember exactly where it is, but he has a place here in the U.S. and then he comes to Tucson. So he's sometimes in Arizona too. Can you say the telepathy exercise one more time? This is Janine Gibbons. After you charge it in the sun, do you hold it to your third eye and then someone else's third eye to experience it? No. So I hold it to my third eye and just imagine transferring that thought form. And when I'm working telepathy, and like I said, Janine, when we get to this in Soul Shift in a couple of months, I'll be doing a much deeper dive on it because it's quite complex. Like with my animals, the way I do telepathy is I go third eye to third eye with them, like I did it with Bodhi today, where I just literally get my third eye. I do it with my cat too, right up against each other's third eye, and I'll beam messages. And then what I found is the more I do that in person, the more I'm able to do it remotely. So like my dad's cat is sick right now. She scratched her face, and then she started, I guess it was itching, so now she's scratching it again, and she's making these, I know, poor little thing is, and then they put like the cone of shame on her. Little Lolita. Anyway, so I've gone third eye to third eye with Lola, so like today I was using telepathy because she and I have established the baseline contact, so I was imagining beaming her messages to not scratch her wounds today. So what you do is you hold your ring to your third eye, so the stone is making contact right with your pineal area. Pull up the thought form, which for me is like a bubble. Like imagine filling a bubble with the thought or the energy or the emotion that you want to transfer. So pull up that thought form in your third eye. And then pull up a hologram of the person or the animal or the being that you want to transfer that thought form to. And I literally imagine transferring it like a little ball of light from my third eye to their third eye. But you don't have to actually physically touch them with your ring. Yeah, and like I said, we'll do a whole deep dive on it. What shampoo do I use since I color my hair? It's called, I hope you don't mind when I pull up Amazon to show you things. It's just honest to God, I can't remember anything anymore. I've just gotten like menopause brain to the max. If you haven't gone through menopause yet, just thank your lucky stars. It sucks, man. Let me see if I can pull it up for you. It's a great shampoo and conditioner. I really do recommend it. It's my favorite. And I used to use a lot of different brands. I still use Pureology sometimes, but this one, if I can find it, is the best. If I can't find it, I will send the link to Alexis and Karen for you. And I get what my mom was a hairdresser, so she calls it the back bar size because that's what hairdressers call the big bottles. Let's see. I'm not finding it right this second, so I'll get the link and send it to Alexis and Karen. I don't want to take your time with it, but it's really, really good. And it's like pretty much the only thing I use. Let's see. Oh, interesting. You got COVID twice and your hair's thicker? Well, shit, Ruth. Look at you messing up the paradigm.
It's interesting because
Yeah.
I got COVID and my hair has been shedding like crazy.
Yeah.
And I really thought it was just like over bleaching and stuff like that. And now you have me thinking because maybe it was that. But I'm vaccinated. So
yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know.
It's an
Honest to
interesting
goodness,
theory.
who knows? The thing about COVID that's interesting to me from an energetic perspective, we don't have to talk about COVID, but everybody's experience of it is really different, and so it seems to have like an intelligence about it, like how it operates in the system. I'm not saying I like it or in any way, but I'm just like observing that it seems to operate very differently in different people. Londa's having another heart procedure Tuesday. We are going to be holding all the space for you when you do that. You'll be just fine. Oh, you're going to a Herkimer gem sale this weekend, Kathleen? That sounds like fun. I'm glad I'm not doing that. That would be a dangerous place for me. Although, it's really funny. I was just talking to a friend of mine this weekend, and she was saying how she was experiencing a lot of stress and she's lived in her house for a long time, and she was like, it was so weird because I was like, why am I feeling so stressed in my house? And then she realized she had brought home a bunch of Herkimers from a gem sale, and the vibration was too much. And so she said, you know what, I got rid of all those Herkimers, packed them up, put them in a box. Now I'm working with them one by one. She's like, it's much more manageable now. But it was like Herkimer overload. But remember, Herkimers are supposed to be the highest vibrational quartz, kind of like Veracruz amethyst, right? It's the highest vibe amethyst. So even Veracruz amethyst can be too much for people. I think a Herkimer is a stronger vibration than even like a moldavite. So careful with the Herkimers. Did I close the circle? Did I open a circle this time? I don't think I opened a circle, did I?
You didn't open a circle.
I don't think I did.
You smudged.
Yeah, I smudged, but I don't think I opened a circle.
Yeah, because we didn't really do... Or did you do it before your visioning exercise, maybe? No, I only saw you smudge.
I don't think I opened a circle.
No.
But if I did, let me know and I'll close it. Happy birthday, Valerie B! Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Valerie. Happy birthday to you. So good. Let's see. Apple cider rinse, people are saying, for hair care. That's interesting. Oh, I did open a circle. Okay, well, let's close it. Well, let's close it. Momo's video isn't public yet, but the minute it is, you better believe that shit's getting posted in your group. Because it's him building this underground grid, and he sent it to me because I helped him ideate what stones to use for it. Thank you for reminding me. Before the ring exercise. Okay, good to know. Forgot. Anyway, as soon as I'm able to share that with you, I will. I just don't have his permission yet. Without guardians. Okay, good. That way I don't have to release them. I don't know what new perfumes we're doing for October yet. We're still working on that, but there's an 11 anniversary perfume coming, and it's got like a little gemstone tassel on it. It's super pretty, and it's our 11 favorite essential oils that we've used since I founded Sage Goddess, and it's really pretty. Is diamond higher than Herkimer? I don't think so. Diamond's different though. The carbon in diamond, remember, diamond has a totally different crystal structure than quartz. Quartz is hexagonal, diamonds are octahedral, so diamonds are naturally more balanced than quartz. And quartz disperses its energy more widely than diamond. Diamond is very focused, but it is a master healer, and the carbon basis of it is very powerful. It's one of the reasons why I like a nice Tibetan quartz, because you get the benefit of the dispersion of energy of quartz, the hexagonal dispersion energy of quartz, with the kind of the party bonus of having the energy of carbon. Thanks, you guys. Let's see. Isn't that interesting? Jacqueline Parra said, one time I couldn't sleep for days, and when I looked under my bed, there was a tiny little Herkimer. Doesn't take much to buzz you out of this dimension, right? This is one of my first magic wands from a long, long time ago. Yeah. It's a really marked Lemurian, and it has record keepers on it. It's not in the best shape, but this has been with me for, I don't know, 11 years maybe. It's got a big shaman portal on it. Let's see. Aw, I love that. Lauren says she's obsessed with Summer Priestess. So when I come over, can I nap in your garden? Yes, you can. And that perfume smells exactly like my garden. There's a place in my garden between my orange tree and my champaka tree that smells exactly like that. So literally what I tried to channel with Summer Priestess was like standing in that exact place between the orange blossoms, because there's so much neroli, and then the champaka blossoms. And it's literally what you will smell when you stand in that place. Yeah. Am I bringing back 1111? Aww. Thank you for that. Yeah, every time you guys make a suggestion, Karen logs it, and then we give it to our team. So it's always good to ask, right? And we are making Herkimer diamond rings, and I think we're making Tibetan quartz rings. I think we are. Yeah, I'm excited for you guys. Let's see, I'm going back up in the feed for a second. Aww. S. Harity said, I have to rewatch class because I was interrupted so many times. I know what that's like. I feel like my whole life is an interruption. I totally get that. Yeah, the anniversary perfume is called 11. Yeah. You never had a Herkimer? Let's see. Gloria's asking about Ocean Jasper from the 8th vein. Is that the green? Yeah, let me know if that's the green, the 8th vein. I like it. I don't like it as much as the multicolored. This last pocket of Ocean Jasper they found. It's beautiful, and I think it's very healing. I just haven't felt as connected to it. Yeah. What do you do if you forget to close the circle? Is it dangerous? No, but think of it like this. It's like inviting a bunch of people over to your house and then going to bed and just leaving them like in your kitchen. You know, the spirit guides are all like, is she gonna let us go? So when I have forgotten to close the circle, I've actually been awakened in the middle of the night by my spirit guides before. It's happened multiple times. And it's usually like, wake up, right? Oh yeah. We are going to Denver. We've already booked our houses. We're taking our whole team. We booked 3 houses, Alexis.
Oh my gosh.
3 Airbnbs, because we're taking the whole kit and caboodle. So, yeah, we're taking everybody. I can't remember what our dates are. I think we're going for 10 or 12 days to Denver. Wouldn't miss it for the world. Yeah. No way. Isn't that cool? Poe Allen says one of my friends lives in Herkimer and rakes up herks in her backyard. Are you even kidding me right now? Talk about #reasons not to leave New York. Right? I know. Denver's fun. It's smaller than Tucson, but that's also part of the charm of it. You know, and I like the city of Denver. I love the food. I love the people. The weather's usually pretty great. I like the vibe. I really do. People are chill in Denver. So I'm into it. Saya says, I've been feeling super isolated living in my new home, so I rewatch classes and it helps me feel like I'm not alone. Oh, I understand that, though. You know how when you're just in a new spot, and your house is so beautiful, and you've got Brian there, and you're familiars, but it is kind of tricky when you're in a new spot, and you kind of, like, don't know your neighbors yet and all that, so I'm glad that we make you feel like you're not alone, because you're not alone. I always say, we're just one blink away. Just one thought away. Sing to Martha, happy birthday. Is it your birthday, Martha? Happy birthday. Hold on, I need more drinks. my voice is all froggy. It's not going to be pretty for you, Martha. Okay. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Martha. Happy birthday to you. And many more. Oh, yeah. Let's see. Cheers and cheers. Whenever you guys are here on your birthday, I hope you know, like, just my whole heart is so warmed by it. Because you're choosing to spend part of your special day with me. What? It's a big honor. Oh, I love that. Yeah, so Jennifer would like me to sing to Sarah because her birthday is Sunday. And she's a member and she works at night. So, you ready? Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Sarah. Happy birthday to you. Since you're working right now. It's your little gift for later. Yeah, I love it. I love it. I love it. What does champaka smell like? It's so different, you know? It's a member of the magnolia family. It's not a magnolia, but it's a member of the magnolia family. I would say if tuberose and gardenia and honeysuckle had a baby, and a splash of orange blossom, it's very sweet. It's very if an essential oil could have a texture, it's thick. It's like a thick honey resinous flower, but it's super sweet. Monastery Made makes a moisturizer with pure champaka called Flora. And it's holy shit. And it's pure champaka.
That sounds nice.
It's gorgeous. It's gorgeous. It's spendy. Why are shaman portals important? What do they represent? How do you use them? It's a great question. So here's a shaman portal. See this? I've had customers write in and go, oh shit, my crystal's broken, right? It's not broken when you have a shaman portal. It's actually a gift from the earth. So what it is, see that little indentation right there? Let me use the other camera. See how it's geometric, right? This little indentation right here. See it? Now, if it's deep enough where it could hold a drop of water, which that one is, it's called a shaman portal. See how that's deep enough into the quartz where it could hold a drop of water? So what a shaman portal actually is where this crystal was attached to another crystal and was separated from it. So that's why most shaman portals are hexagonal, because quartz is hexagonal and there was another quartz crystal attached here. Does that make sense? Now, shaman portals are like fingerprints of creation, because Mother Nature herself put those two crystals together with intentions, that was their binding point. So when those crystals separate, the energy of those two crystals continues to vibrate away from each other. It's like quantum entanglement, kind of. Does that make sense? So they call them shaman portals because since that crystal left, there's still portal energy here. That energy of creation, or that portal energy, still exists. So what you can do is you can use your breath or your finger and touch into that and actually go into that crystal and journey from that place. And you find them, I mean, pretty often, wouldn't you say? I mean, if you go through your quartz collection, I guarantee you've got some shaman portals there. Because quartz is constantly binding with itself. But because that was the point of binding, that was the point of creation and the point of connection, it carries its own frequency and vibration. Yeah, well, you're so welcome. Yeah, isn't it funny? I have a special connection to this wand, Vanya, and you know I have a lot of wands, but you know I have favorites, and she's my favorite. She's one of my favorites. Fingerprint of creation. And yes, Tanya, you can have them on any crystals, but usually it's quartz. It has to be crystals that bind like that and connect to each other, and then it's not going to have the same shape if the crystal's not hexagonal, because you can actually see the hexagonal kind of imprint in the shaman portal if you look closely. So again, when customers are like, my crystal's broken, and I'm like, but there's geometry there. You know what I mean? So, yeah, I did have these a long time ago in a gem sale. I did. It's been a long, long time. So thank you so much for being here, you guys. I hope you enjoyed Crystal Masters for July.
I just love.
And there's more to come. So if you wanted anything, we have a Tanzanite mala in the shop today. I don't know if you saw that. It's so beautiful.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Oh, it is.
There's Tanzanite in the mala.
Really pretty.
This is one of my favorite malas that we've made for you. Oh my god. It's blue aventurine. I don't know if we have any of these left, because we only had 100 of these to start with. These are all Tanzanite beads, and then there's sodalite, and then there's blue aventurine. This is your best third eye mala anybody's ever going to make you. And
Do you still have them?
They're under $100, and you have 23% off. Your code is something.
Let me look. Hold on.
Oh, hold on. I've got it.
Oh, Wonder.
Yeah, your code is WONDER. And don't forget, code is WONDER at sagegoddess.com. And don't forget to put self-care in your notes, because then you're going to get stickers. And the sticker sheet is so stinking cute, you guys. We have a sticker maker here at Sage Goddess, and then our graphic design team kind of went crazy and made you all these really pretty stickers. So anyway, you'll get free stickers if you put that code. That's just for today. Yeah, so the malas, get on the wait list for the Third Eye Grid if you want it, because that way when they restock it, you'll get the notification about that. Like I said, we have 2 different sizes of azurite. We have the larger pieces and the little blueberry. So if you fell in love with azurite, and we had leftovers of the ring. Not that many, not even enough for all of you who are here. So if you didn't get the ring, Karen and Alexis are going to link you to the ring, the azurite. Is it all in the class tools section?
Yes.
Okay.
Everything's in the class tools.
Will you drop that into the...
yes.
So she's going to put the link right now to the class tools section. And the mala is right in today's new and just listed products too. So anything you want, it's 23% off with your code. And thank you for being here. So I will be live with you next on Tuesday for our members only live sale. Although, you know, I'm live every day at lunchtime, so you know where to find me. But I love those daily lives. I really do. And just know you can always come to those daily lives and hang out and learn, even if you're not shopping. You know what I mean? Just come, and I really enjoy the time. I started doing those during COVID, and I miss it when I don't do it. So I'm always kind of live with you sometime midday to tell you about what's new. I know. So, yeah, and I did show next month's tools, and you have until midnight tonight to subscribe to them. They're beautiful, you guys. So yeah, if you missed it, go back in this recording and you'll see them. And then your deadline is midnight tonight to subscribe.
Love you guys.
We love you so much. Thank you, Karen, for being there as always.
Thanks,
cheers and cheers and
Karen.
cheers. We'll look forward to seeing you guys Tuesday at your exclusive gem sale. That will be at the same time, 3 p.m. on YouTube, not for the public. So you don't have to compete with all the peeps. And some really special cherry-picked things and a couple of surprises, things from my own collection that I'm bringing in for you guys. So really cool things coming. And we'll see you then. Have a great rest of your night. Take care, you guys.
Bye.